Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today we all saw the Kentucky 4 results, and I'm talking about it because it's kind of a temperature litmus test type of thing to see where regular people's minds are at, right? And I like to do that through different people's content, different people's words, data, information, whatever the fuck, because I believe that things come down to the human level, right? And because of that, I want to see what people are doing and what they're thinking about and who they're listening to and all that stuff. That's why the way I'm going to do this little autopsy of Massie losing, which is going to lean in a direction. I'll be honest. It's going to lean towards the idea of it being rigged, essentially. We did a lot more talking. The last video we did a lot more talking, it seemed like, towards, or I was trying to like drive it towards, like, hey, if he lost legitimately, like, what happened? Right? And you hear a lot of things about older voters and all that shit. But I want to like almost do this one very specifically about the idea of it being rigged. And I'm going to do it through a couple different lenses here. You have the I support Ron Paul, or sorry, I support Thomas Massie, Ron Paul type guy, right? We can see he asked, did Massie get 2020, right? And you have like someone more in the middle that has left-leaning policy, like a Jimmy Dore. I think he's an idiot, but still, just putting different textures and flavors out there for the sake of conversation, right? Not necessarily endorsing anyone's point of view about this. And obviously, the last thing, hey, you guys got screwed over, right? Or at least a lot of people feel that way. And look who will come in and try to clean things up and say, hey, maybe you should join our party instead. Maybe join us. Come with us. Come in our direction. And I truly believe that's what Kyle does. Although I haven't seen this video, but I can believe that he might use it as a selling point to say, hey, this is what happens when you deal with Republicans. Please come towards us. Come towards Democrats. Which is gross and disgusting, but still needs to be observed and needs to be called out and needs to be talked about. But all right, before I get started with this video, please don't forget to share support. Hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. We're in that Discord right now. All opinions are welcome, and obviously everything I show you will be linked in that same description box, including stuff like this. As you can see, when I first saw this today, I think I saw like a glimpse of it yesterday or last night. But when I really looked at it, I'm like, does that make sense? Is that something that happens where you go from, okay, you have Massey's, I guess, first run in 2020, or he's probably there before that, but okay, let's say the last 4 runs here. 2020, 84,000 total votes, right? 2022, 66,000 total votes. 24, 52,000 total votes. And now it's 104,000 to 105,000 total votes. Does that make sense to anyone? Like, were there people sitting around waiting for Ed Galrain or whatever the fuck his name is?
You would have to cross compare it to how many people actually live in this district, and see how many people are moving in, moving out of this district. But it does look fishy. I saw that yesterday when Jesse posted, like, what was it, 5 years worth of votes?
Okay.
And it was he, and it's similar to those numbers you just said, like, but you to get the full picture, you would have to see what is the total population of District 4, and does this number ever cross the population limit too?
That if they rigged it and did that shit, that'd be, I mean, crazy as fuck.
Hey, that was
some
of the stuff discovered in the 2020 election.
I'm just going with dumb guy logic and the idea of like where people like sitting around waiting for Ed Galrain to go run for office before they got out of their seats, because I'm pretty sure Trump endorsed Massie before in the past, right? So thus, why didn't he see those numbers? Because of how powerful the Trump endorsement is. What happened? Like, right? He endorsed Ed Galrain in this recent election, right? And you have these prior elections where he was endorsed by Trump, but Massie wasn't getting these fucking numbers like that. like getting a turnout like
Well,
that.
what was 22? What was 2022? Because that was the year Trump endorsed him, right?
Well, he won in a landslide, right? Massie did, but he won in a landslide before the Trump endorsement too, I believe. And
No, but the total of votes, like somebody got up off their ass and said, "I'm going to do it because Trump said to."
well, check this out. In 2020, it was 84,000. In that 22 election that you're talking about right now, it dropped by like 20,000 total voters.
So,
Like,
so
make it make
Trump's
sense.
call to vote for this guy
And he got less
drops by
votes.
20,000.
Yes. Yep. And he almost had 20,000 less
20.
votes, and it's like for Massie himself, 20,000 less votes basically than he did the
Hold
year
on. No, no,
before.
no, no.
The
No,
election
no, no,
before.
no. 100 this year, 104,000 is the total election. Both
Mhm.
both candidates.
Yes.
So, are you saying 80,000 voted for just Massie?
No. In 20,
And
hold on, let me explain. In 2020, the totality of all the voters was 84,000. In 2022, the totality of all the voters is 66,000.
okay,
Now, hold on,
okay,
let me say this now. Now, in 2020, just for Massie was 68,000. And then in 2022, just for Massie was 50,000, which means he lost 18,000 votes basically after the Trump endorsement. So that can't be the main factor of how this played out in yesterday's election, right? That can't be the reason. Like the Trump endorsement isn't that powerful, is it? But they're almost making that as the excuse, as the reason why this happened. I'm like, damn, you got that many more people to just turn out as you said words out. Like,
Like
I don't get it.
twice as many people as last election.
Yeah, like, does that make sense to anyone? Like,
So if you just erased Ed, the winner, if you just erase that line, this this the votes would look pretty much like they normally do.
Yeah.
But you just got like an extra 50,000.
There's more information we're gonna go over where it's just like, this is just, I'm sorry, I can't not look at it. It looks extremely bizarre.
This makes me wonder if anybody voted for him. The way that these numbers, he's like, yeah, just the way that, like, it just looks like it's like stuffed in there.
I have a stat that we're gonna see later on. Once again, I can't say I know any of this is true. It's just more for me. It's about the thought process behind things. And when I tell you the stat, it might break some brains. Where it's like, what the fuck? Let's keep it moving. Once again, this is already weird enough on screen. Let's keep it moving now. To a more not more detailed, but more like based on like how did it go from here to here? Like you see this line right here, change from 2024 to 2026. Massie increases votes by 19.1%. Okay. But the opponent 356.6%. Like, and it feels like, who knew this guy there? Does anyone know who this Ed Gowring guy is in there? Like, it's just bizarre. The total turnout, once again, plus 100.3%. It doesn't.
wait. The turnout was what in percentage?
100.3% over the last
So,
election
Increase.
increase. Yes,
oh, okay, okay,
Doubled.
yeah, it
okay.
doubled it. And you can see once again Massie's last opponent when it comes to the increase in turnout support for them, 356%. And I kept asking these questions like who is this guy? Does anyone know who this guy? Right? Can he like just get that much name recognition and push all over one little endorsement? I get Trump's popular, and in fact, I need to like apologize to the older folks out there because this doesn't look like, if I go down this lane towards like these theory lanes over here about like this shit being rigged, it's not their fault exactly. I'm sure a lot of them showed up to listen. I watch Fox News. I'm following Trump, but to this degree, that doesn't sound realistic at all.
Well, bro, he's got Yellowstone making his songs. He's got, he's got, he's the super farmer, the super soldier, and he knows the super sniper. What else do you need?
Oh, that exact thing is the next stat that you're gonna see, where it's like, now wait a minute. Even if it's once again, even if there was a large, older, 65-plus-year-old voter turnout, this still doesn't make sense to me. Look at this. And once again, this is all legend. You can see here it says Thomas Massie had 1,545 donors from Kentucky. Ed Galrain had 70 donors from Kentucky. Only 70 donors from Kentucky, compared to 1,500. Make it make sense, guys.
50,000 showed up to vote for him.
And
What's their
only
limit on
70
donations?
gave money, I guess.
And they gave him, like,
What's
this is even like they gave him $5, right? Like that's
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
typical presidential election. I just need $5.
So it's like, who was actually supporting? Like, you keep seeing videos of the after parties, and you're seeing like just kind of empty rooms with Ed Galrain's like extended family, basically, and no real like supporters, right? And Massey's throwing a fucking party and drinking milk and Miller Lite and all that shit, right? It's just like a black and white. Someone brought up the Biden stuff where it like looks the same almost, right? And Hillary, where it's like, yeah, no one's showing up to your events. Like, how are you winning so by such a wide margin? How are you winning that badly when like where's your supporters at? I don't get it. So yeah, this stat blew my mind. Once again, if it's legit, right? Just to be fair.
Because remember, Dinesh D'Souza got arrested for giving $11,000 to a candidate.
Okay, or breaking what's the limit? Like 4,000, I think. There's like a limit or something like that.
It depends. There's a limit, but it's state by state. But if the RNC or the DNC gives you money, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
But as an individual giving money, there's a max.
Yes.
That's why they give it to the PACs, and then they
So
give them
70 people gave to this Ed Gein guy, and then 1,500 gave to Massie.
In Kentucky. In Kentucky.
So imagine
Not
that
like
race
statewide.
without RNC. Imagine that race without the RNC allowed to give any money.
Well, it was,
And it had to come from individuals donating the money with the
Yeah,
limits.
like Trump supporters. Like Trump is not from Kentucky, right? Like he's supporting him or endorsing him.
No, he's
and
New York.
He could put his endorsement, but like he can't go and vote for him. So like I think that's why the focus is like, okay, people in the state, right? Because like they're the only ones who can actually vote for him. Right?
Yeah.
So they could have gotten external
Right.
money, but like who is actually voting for him?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, take out the ability of the RNC or the DNC. Let's just say that doesn't exist. That means the money comes from the people that are in the state that give him the money. That's 70 donors versus 1,500 donors.
yeah, it's.
I mean, is
yeah.
it's actually easier to give money than it is to go show up to the ballot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can just push some buttons on my phone. It's like, all right, sent. It's like,
Yeah. I wonder if this thing that this guy's Chris Burnett is referring to is, imagine if it's statewide, like you have the entire state there, and only 70 people gave you any money. Can you imagine that? That'd be fucking nuts. That'd be crazy. And honestly, you would think, once again, this is my, I guess, quasi apology to the older folks for even insinuating that. Like, I mean, it's worthy of a theory to look at, honestly, but still, it's like, what if, like, because they would pull their pocketbooks out, right, and donate $5 here or whatever the fuck, right, or $10 here, right? Because they're older, they got saved up money, Social Security, all that shit, right? So why wouldn't they, throw $5 here, throw $10 there for this Galrain guy? Why not? And if only 70 motherfuckers, forget about the entire state, just in that district, in District 4, if only 70 people gave any money at all, that is nuts. And let's be honest, there is special interest within any fucking district, and when it comes to politics, right? Let's be honest, right? So there are some
Right.
big wigs
And
who are not like regular people. They like actually do like lobbying style politics. So thus they would give money. So they might count in the 70 donors thing. If you eliminate them, there might be like only
right.
50 motherfuckers actually giving money. Honestly, right?
Well, and of those 70, how many of them maxed out their donations? And of those 1,500, how many maxed out their donations?
I assume it's a Bernie Sanders situation where that guy he was breaking campaign donation records, right? To like money being raised with the smallest average donation amount, right, per
In order
supporter.
to a lot of times in order to qualify for certain things, you need to have a certain number of donors and certain donor thresholds. So the thing is that you'll see it's very common in politics for candidates to donate to each other candidates' campaigns to try to make sure that they reach those thresholds.
Oh,
So there's a lot
shit.
of
I didn't even think of that.
there's a lot of political gamesmanship and just a lot of this is pre-written. So yeah.
So, of those 70, 32 of them could have been city
I
council
would say
members
I
from
would say
the
it's the other
multiple
way, right?
cities in this
He
district.
was like maybe exactly. He was like maybe it's 50-20, right? I'd say it's 50-20 the other direction. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
really?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd put it the other direction.
Well,
100%.
I didn't. Well, okay, fair. I didn't know that about like thresholds that need to be met. So thus, you do some bullshit background shit to make sure they hit that threshold, right? To where it could play out the way you said it,
Yeah.
where it's like 50 are actually these bullshit motherfuckers and 20 are just actual regular people giving money.
Yeah.
And once again, let's just look it up. Let me say. I'll look it up later, but I'm curious. Like, do they mean Kentucky as a whole, or do they mean
That's how
you
the
know
system in
District
general
4.
works. But
just
actually,
District 4? Yeah.
Kentucky is much cleaner than New York because in New York you have something called publicly matching funds, where you multiply your money by like 10 times through government
I
assistance.
can't.
So
I couldn't say that 100% with certainty that it's better. It's cleaned up. Like the good old boy network was what the South was all about for 150
yeah.
fucking years.
Oh, it's definitely
So did he
just
go away or
definitely.
just change? I couldn't say that with certainty.
So the thing is that every district has something called a district leader. And these district leaders, right, are responsible for doing the work. That's why you can actually, I've seen a lot of events where, exactly the phenomenon of you talking about how Gallery doesn't have like a very good following, but somehow they won the election. I've seen this many times at a local level as well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that the people who do this professionally, they know where they got to turn the numbers, and some of these people are fudging the numbers. Dead serious. Like everybody knows this, but they have the lock. You know what I mean? They have the control, and the people at the Board of Elections are usually friends with the party leadership. This
Yeah.
is big business right here. This is already all sewn up. So,
But let me ask this, Ed, because like they have to
okay.
create some sense of suspension of disbelief to where it's like, yeah, maybe you rig something in a direction, right? But you have to make it believable. It can't just like you can't just be that heavy-handed to where people now notice like, wait a minute, that's fucking rigged looking, right? When we see these numbers like this shit, right, with the
Well,
voter turnout just
some of
flipping
these
like
things
that.
do impact, and yeah, and also remember that it's like like there's people like quacks who sell like fake medicine. Well, there's a
Yep.
lot of people who have relationships, right, with the media and stuff like that because every year the party leadership is cycling through another batch of candidates. So they say, you know what, I know a guy who's going to get you on the TV and we can sell you a package and I'm getting my cut and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this is actually, they're cycled through a system that really is churning out, like McDonald's type of hamburgers. So
Fuck
this is
me.
it's just what you get. Yeah. And
Well,
notice how
here's
earlier we were talking about how the news didn't talk about, right, like about how the news wasn't saying certain things. They're in on it. Like they
Mhm.
cannot implicate themselves. Well, like, what do you want them to say that like Israel was like through the election? Some people are saying it, but that will also negatively impact a lot of advertising stuff like that. Potential lawsuits, hassle. They don't want to. They don't want to deal with that. So the
Yeah.
press regularly makes this concession.
Yeah.
also you got to consider this. Massie can look at Ed Gein, whatever the guy's name is, Every
It's
donor.
going.
And how?
It,
Okay.
it gains serial killer.
Thomas Massie can look at every donor that is giving him money, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So these 70 guys are at least doing something that's identical on Massie's side to Massie's donors.
Wait, what do you mean exactly?
Otherwise, Thomas Massie would be like, okay, here's the fraud, and I'm pointing it out.
Okay.
So Massie is compromised as well. Otherwise, he'd be out there fucking screaming at the top of his lungs. He'd be making his own commercials. I caught him with his donors doing this.
Okay. So like a la Bernie Sanders, right? Where it's like everyone saw he got screwed over, right? On paper at least. And he did nothing to fight it. He just went with it. And
Right.
by that, people would start turning on him like, "Yo, this guy's full of shit." Then, like, how's just letting this happen? Are you
So
are
at
you there yet
least-
with Massie, or you're like, I'm just questioning it?
Well, I'm saying with at least those 70 donors, there's nothing Massie can say about them being dirty. Otherwise, it might be mirror, or it might be they did it clean.
Well, what if you just as a background theory? What if they take some of the fudging of votes and supporters and all that shit and throw some towards Massie too? And be like, see, look, your thing's messed up too. So you know what? It washes out. You lost.
Right.
Maybe I
It
don't
could
know.
be some of those same donors are donating to him so that he can't say anything.
Exactly.
It could be that simple.
Exactly. But all right, let's move on, and we're gonna start with
Actually,
Oh, good.
I'm sorry, just want to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Jobster brings up a great point, and the fact of the matter is that remember that Thomas Massie has been actually a sitting U.S. congressman for many years now, and he does have people at the board of elections, et cetera, et cetera. But notice that these internal fights that happen within the party, you never hear about this on the news. Like this is going on all the time. Libertarians, Green Party. Like I actually have U.S. presidential candidates like asking for addressment about what's going on in the Green Party. But notice how the press does not cover this, because the thing is that
Yeah.
if the press wants access to these candidates, right, then they're going to play ball with the party leadership.
But
Yeah.
as of
Okay.
recent, I've
So
been hearing people scream about, "Hey, Massie, fuck the Republican Party. You join something else and run there." That's what I've been hearing.
that's a mistake, just so you know. And Massie's not going to do that.
What?
He's running independent now as a write-in, but the party infrastructure of the Libertarians, for people that are in the know, and Massie should know, he may be a fake, by the way, because the thing is that he's got ties to something called, if you look on his actual Wikipedia, you can see he got something from something called Freedom Works. Then there's a guy named Adam, who actually has a tie to the original Tea Party.
Yeah.
And the independents,
The Jeffrey Yass
Dennis
guy.
Kucinich, I think, I actually was contacted by someone who's running for Dennis Kucinich for president.
Yeah.
And that whole crew with RFK has been actually really close around it. So unfortunately, Massie hasn't really done anything publicly with that crew, but right now, United Independents is actually just hired Adam to actually work at their event. And I had been in contact with those guys, and those guys cut off contact. So that tells me that they're going to start moving towards that direction, which I can't blame them, because the people that are trying to take over the movement have money and they're feeding them. I'm not going to feed them. You know what I mean? So if they want to just have a decent lifestyle, they have to play ball and cater to certain people. They know it's messed up behind.
They don't
Everybody
have
knows
to.
behind the
They
scenes.
can use their fucking mouths and fucking yap away about it. Like, let it fly, man. But I get what you're saying in the sense of like a strategical
There are
mindset.
people talking about it, but these people are not listened to. Like I told you before, Danny Mayo. You can look him up. He actually was derecognized by the Republican Party for asking for transparency. It's even on the Wikipedia and I've even recorded myself talking to the Queens County Chair, asking about these things. But this story was never really picked up by the media. Theo Chino, another guy. There's a lot of people who are doing this type of like grassroots work, but they're all suppressed and reporting on internal party issues. And sometimes you hear about it, a little bubble here or there, but then it's time runs and then it's pushed away.
Why is it like handfuls of individuals versus, hey guys, we don't like this, we're going to say something about it, to where, right, a group sounds
No,
different
it's
than
legion.
just
It's
individuals
going on
here or there,
everywhere.
right?
It's a legion. It's going on everywhere. But the thing is, it's just not
Well,
reported.
here's an example. Here's an example. You remember Stormy Daniels' Laura Avenatti, the bald guy who went on
No,
TV a couple times?
I didn't invest too much into that story,
Okay.
honestly.
Well, he ran for. Anyway, at some point he ran for office, and he got caught up with some fucking illegal donations.
Okay.
It got discovered before the election that he was in, and he was facing jail time himself. I'm not sure if he got convicted or not, but the fact that there was an investigation before the election tells you, like, they are seeing this stuff. These donations are all filed before elections.
Yeah.
So if there's something fishy with it, the other side's got the opportunity before the election to start yelling, I call foul.
So it's not even a discovery; it's an uncovering when it's strategically useful. Is basically what you're saying. And then Massie had the same thing, like a kind of a sex scandal
Well,
thing they threw out there, right?
in my logic is the only reason why, if you saw that there was something wrong with the donations, that you didn't call it out, is because they got the same kind of thing on you.
Yeah. I mean,
or something else.
yeah. And, I mean, maybe once again, to be fair, not saying I believe this. I don't know exactly, but what if
I'm cutting out now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it to the room. Then, what if these sexual scandal thingies had some sense of legitimacy to it, to where that would get maybe Massey to, like, not saying I believe this, just saying possibilities, where he's like, you know what, I accept my defeat, and he just keeps it moving, even though everything looks. Well, there's a lot of look, the numbers on screen, like, mentally, I'm just like, how does that just happen for a guy that has no name recognition? I say his name 3 different ways every time I say his fucking name. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Not from Kentucky, to be fair, right? But still, like, how many of those motherfuckers knew who this guy was? And you see that stat of the donors, right? Of only 70 donors from Kentucky, or maybe just that district. That's still low as fuck. So, like, who knows this guy? And how come? Once again, I guess the idea is like, hey, older people went out there and voted for him. Like, how do we? It's still not making sense, though. I think they'd, grandma would open up her pocketbook and say, hey, here's $10 because Trump said so. If they were that locked in like that.
Can they actually say what they really did? Can they say we hired consultants to go out and camp on these spots and pay the district leaders who are really keeping track of the votes and who are controlling the elections? They can never say that. This talk about the old people is just smoke
Right.
in the water. And the old people, like I said before,
Yeah.
are the most manipulated votes and the most
That'd be
faked
Hatch
votes.
Act. Yeah,
They're not going to talk. They're not going to admit
that
that.
would be frontline news for months. That'd be Hatch Act. That would be fucking
It's widely known.
the RICO fucking. It'd be the RICO.
Did you get the mail-in numbers?
The what?
Mail-in numbers?
Oh, the 10,000 something mail-in ballots that put him. Look, you see the numbers, right? He won by basically 10,000 votes, right? I saw that floating around as well.
I was wondering about those numbers. Even like as soon as he won, I was looking that up. I was like, well, partially because of that, because and then the other reason, because I saw that it was they said that the older voters, like,
yeah,
they're the ones who did it. So I mean, that just makes a little bit more sense
yeah.
for being correlated with mail-in.
Here's another thing, right? Like, even though I know, like, Trump's not popular right now, like, let's be real about this, though. If there's no voter ID, right, Dubster could go into the voting booth and say, look, my name's Ed Lee, and go place a vote, right? So there's the district leaders know. And when people say that they're working as the poll watchers, if Dubster goes in, how they know that Dubster's name isn't Ed Lee? Like, they don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but that's like something like that is like where they'll just abuse that to something. Like, okay, now there's more surveillance on you. Now you need your ID to buy ice cream at the fucking, ice cream truck.
But people
Like, it's
assume
like go on and on and on.
because there's some title, position, poll watcher, that somehow the elections are secure.
Yeah,
not.
I'd personally, without even necessarily like hardcore investigation into it, like you've done. Even without that, I'd assume it almost works that way. Just on my sense of the way people move around, yeah, you could do some fudging, you could do some bullshit, you can do bot farming, electoral version of bot farming, right? Whereas like anonymous people that aren't actually people, but yet they're voting one direction, and they came from fucking nowhere. Like, where'd these people come from? And so yeah, nothing's a surprise to me. Shout the gangs in New York. Walk in, cast your vote, walk out, shave your beard, and go vote again. Right? That it's like a little bit more sophisticated version of that. Like, I'm not surprised by any of that being out there at all. Which is why I call to like regular people. Like, hey, one is enough. That is the point of all this, and we're gonna start here once again. These content creators are just backdrops to talk about ideas. And we're going to start with one that people would definitely be favorable towards, right? As in, Thomas Massie has major respect for Ron Paul. Ron Paul has major respect for Thomas Massie. They're basically, a team, right? They're part of a team together. So we're going to give him the first shot here. I don't want the delay, so let me just reset real quick. Here we go. All right, let's watch this. This is Ron Paul, and I think it's I almost said Danny McBride. I think it's McAdams, Daniel McAdams. Let's play. Here's their autopsy of the Thomas Massie loss. Here we go.
We don't know what happened. We don't know if there was any cheating that was going on. But a lot of people had the feeling that there were some anomalies that are very, very serious. And I have a couple of them here. I and a lot of other people had that same feeling that we had in 2020. When Joe Biden was campaigning from his basement, he didn't do any public events. He didn't do any debates, really. He did the first debate. Well, he did one debate, and it was a disaster. Didn't hardly do interviews. Everything was safe and controlled. Well, that's the situation with Galrun, the fellow who supposedly won. He refused to debate. He missed 8 debates. He didn't do interviews.
Kind of a joking side note, but everyone says his name differently. Meaning no one fucking knows who that is, bro. Who the fuck is that guy? I've heard Gal Run, I've heard Gal Rain, I've heard Ed Gain, I've heard all these different fucking names of this guy, bro. Like, everyone's like, yo, who the fuck is he? Who is this person? That's so
Ed Gain is a
Yeah,
serial killer.
motivated.
I know.
Ed Gain is the
I
guy,
know.
is Leatherface. All right, just
Double the
okay.
I
number.
know, it was a joke. We watched the show, don't worry. We watched the, was it Netflix show?
Monster.
That's right. All right, let's play. It's just funny that like everyone's like, who the fuck is this guy, basically? Here we go.
Everything was safe and controlled. Well, that's the situation with Galrun, the fellow who supposedly won. He refused to debate. He missed 8 debates. He didn't do interviews. He didn't have rallies. And if he did, there were a couple of token people there. The guy was a complete cipher.
That's a good point. I saw that earlier. I should have said it yesterday, actually. I should have said this. There was no debate. Like, almost like the, Kamala, Joe Biden thing going on and not wanting to debate and not wanting to do primary, like that type of like little sneaky behavior. But then again, it's like, well, how did you get all those votes then? Is it all just fucking old couch people just like watching Fox News saying, yeah, we're just going to fucking vote for this guy because the TV said so? And that, to be honest, that's a little insulting, honestly, because right now, the way I'm looking at it, like, I don't think that's fair. Like, someone needs to do an actual, like, data-driven autopsy of this scenario. I mean, like, go, like, door to door, like, yo, do you mind answering? Who'd you vote for? Okay, Ed Galrain. Like, okay, and if they did vote for Ed Galrain, like, okay, why? If they'll answer, right? You can't force them to, but all right, let's play. Here we go.
So people are rightly scratching their heads saying, this reminds me a lot of 2020 when we believe, or certainly there was a lot of evidence that Trump got ripped off in 2020, and a lot of people believe that, and I think it's probably the case. Ironically, now it looks like Trump did the same. Trump did it 2020 to Thomas Massie.
It's almost like they're
I
the
have
same
a couple
team.
of
I don't
things
know.
now. We don't know, but this is what people are saying. Sam Parker did a good job putting some things together. He said, "Did Massie get 2020'd?" Now, the numbers can be a little bit
Sam Parker
confusing,
has a little
but
spooky to
try
me,
to
but
follow along if you can.
whatever.
Massie increased his turnout by 19% over 2024, but Galrain increased the opposition turnout by 357%. Today's turnout doubled 2024's in the highest overall vote in Kentucky history. Was this really driven by get out the vote millions? Suspicious. Now here's a chart of how the votes turned out. Are we really supposed to believe the boomers flooded the polls so hard that they overwhelmed every other demographic? Now you look here, the 18 to 29-year-old voters, likely voters, 78.5% went for Massie. The 30 to 44, 64.9% went to Massie. Even the 45 to 64s went 53.3% for Massie. Galrain only won the 65 plus, who went 65% in his favor. Now, it's always possible, but this is very suspicious. Now, two more, Dr. Paul, and I'm going to send it back to you. This next one, if you put it on, finishing out Sam Parker's views last night. Galrain didn't do any debates, and no grassroots showed up to his campaign events at all. But we're supposed to believe they came out to vote for him in record numbers? Massie also massively outraised Galrain in small dollar donations in both totals and numbers of donors. This is a huge signal of voter enthusiasm. But we're supposed to believe that Galrain's seniors and fewer small donors doubled the turnout from 2024. He says, LOL.
So he basically just went over it. Okay, so I get where they're going anyways. Probably could have found a longer segment than that. He just went over what we went over, but honestly, I try not to watch certain things before. I want like real reactions. So, but either way, you can get their sentiment, right? Once again, people view, Thomas Massie as the new Ron Paul, and people view Ron Paul as the old Thomas Massie, right? So you can hear their sentiment. They're like, yo, something sus is going on here. Let's move on to someone who's more so relatively in the middle between a Ron Paul, Daniel McAdams, and a Kyle Kulinski, I do this for strategy for the Democratic Party type person, which I guess would be dumb fuck, jack off comedian, Jimmy fucking Dare. Do not freak out, Ed. Here we go. Actually, let me put closed caption on. Here we go.
So Thomas Massie
Lock
has
in.
lost to the Epstein class, the Epstein billionaire class. Again,
And these guys, it's more so like I'll watch until I feel like I heard enough, then I'll move on. But here we go.
we no joy to tell you this, but the silver lining is that
I'm actually doing
this
other
will
stuff,
make
so it doesn't
people
matter.
even more resentful of
Everything matters, Ed.
Israel, the
Wow.
Zionists, and the Epstein class, and you will soon see signs of revolution. And I'm going to get to that in just a second, but let's just
Signs
go
of
over
revolution.
Glenn Greenwald. If the AIPAC Adelson crowd wants someone out of Congress for disloyalty to Israel, they will be out of Congress. There are a few exceptions due to
Sell
the
that
unusual
narrative, Glenn.
districts,
Get
but
'em.
not many. The Israel lobby has unlimited funding and will spend limitlessly to expunge the blasphemous. And so the Israel lobby shattered spending records, which they held from 2024, by dumping millions to remove Massie. I think they spent $22 million. The lead
I heard it's close to 35, honestly. But part of me, once again, if we're going down theory lane here, part of me is like they use that as an excuse. Yes, I'm sure having plenty of money is impactful for getting resources and volunteers and all that shit, right? Or even suspicious stuff of like people that are watching the polling centers and all that shit, right? But it's sometimes just screams a narrative to make you feel like, okay, that's why he lost, because he didn't have enough money compared to the other person. Versus, yeah, they might have just did some rigging, actually. So, like in my mind at least, like it's a good excuse the good reason is in today's society, it looks good to be like, hey, he got so much money, that's how he won. And thus the answer for people's mindsets are, well, let's get money out of politics, or let's put limits on how much money you can get, or what type of donations you can get. Let's put limits on all these things, because that's the thing that's driving one winner versus another winner, right? Or a winner versus a loser in any given situation. And I'm like, I think it comes down to the human level, but that money thing is a pretty good excuse to say, right? If Trump's like, listen, today we have given Ed Galrain $140 billion, $140 billion. And in your mind, like, that means he won, right? They like almost want that mindset versus, well, what did the people there want? Like, what are they thinking about? Right? They're not getting that $120 billion. They're not getting it. But all right, let's apply. Here we go.
The anti-Massie funder was the Israeli-American Miriam Adelson. Trump himself said last year her primary loyalty is to Israel. Let's listen.
But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say.
And people think it's a joke. So I just want to let you know how this broke down. So according to Kalshi, they've spent $32 million. Sorry, $32 million was spent on that. Donald Trump, of course, came out against Massie. Here's the breakdown of the voting. Now, watch what this means. So everybody from 17 to 55 voted in favor of Massie by a big margin. 25%, 17 to 25 years old, 26 to 35, 56% plus. So he's big up from 17, anybody from voting age to 55. You know who he lost with? The Fox News geriatric crowd. So from 55 older, they went for the puppet of Israel because.
Now, Jimmy, you sound like, again, the old man thinking process. Well, it's Israel. That sounds the same to me as, well, it's the Democrats that they replay on Fox News over and over again. And somehow motherfuckers don't realize that. Jimmy himself, possibly, and definitely the audience. They don't see that. Like, hey, you're falling in the same thinking patterns because, you know, in their minds, I guess the names change around, the topic name changes around instead of it being, well, Massie is working with the Democrats. Maybe it's, you know, Trump is owned by Israel. Like, you're still falling for narrative management psychologically versus really thinking about it, like actually thinking about it. But here we go. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, more thinking is needed, not less. More is needed. Here we go.
They watch Fox News and they're Republicans. That's what happened, and they consumed all that $32 million in ad money that was spent by the Israeli lobby and Miriam Adelson. So that's what happened.
Really,
Lauren Jensen.
I thought Jimmy would walk down the it's rigged lane, but I guess he's not. I guess he's going with, well, they're just older. Also, here's another one pooping in your neighborhood, Jimmy Dore, Lauren Chen. Another one shitting in your fucking front yard. But don't worry, Jimmy's not even trying it, right? Let's be honest. But all right, I guess we'll go down this road of, hey, it wasn't rigged. It's just old people went out to vote for Massie, went out to vote for Galrain, and because they're old and watch Fox News. I guess we're just going strictly down that route, possibly. Let's find out, though. Here we go.
The age breakdown of who opposes Massie is fascinating. Under 55, all in for Massie. Over 55, all in for Galrain. And the GOP in 10 years is going to look radically different than it does today. I say it's going to look radically different the next presidential election. That's what I say. Because most of these people took their vaccines.
What?
So
he's doing.
Here's what I say.
The fuck narrative spin was that you just threw in there?
The last time that the establishment was this unresponsive and oppressive to the citizenry, George Washington picked up a gun and they started defending liberty and shooting people. Now, I'm not advocating violence. That would be horrible if that was the result of this, and I'm advocating not to do this because I have a plan, a nonviolent plan, to fix this. But let's remember what George Washington said. He said, at a time when our lordly masters in Great Britain will be satisfied with nothing less than the deprivation of American freedom, it seems highly necessary that something should be done to avert the stroke and maintain the liberty which we have derived from our ancestors. That no man should scruple or hesitate a moment to use a gun, in defense of so valuable a blessing on which all the good and evil of life depends is clearly my opinion. Yet an arms, I wouldn't beg to leave to add, should be the last resort. So he's saying that armed resistance is the last resort. And he said it here too. And
well, he didn't, whatever. It's just, the founding fathers thing is almost a psyop on its own. Like I don't want to say... Some use it in that way, psyop-wise, right? To trick you into going into what they're doing or be into what they're doing. But overall, like, hey, guys, once again, think for like a second, maybe, about things. Hey, maybe they're selling us something through the character names that have been built throughout time that of motherfuckers you've never met before. You don't fucking know them, right? But they're used as tokens for the sake of selling you why we should blow some place up or vote for some person or don't get the vaccine or do get the vaccine, like on and so forth. And it's like, you don't fucking know these guys. Why are you going about it that way? But, yeah, right? No one thinks. Or attempting to think. All right, here we go.
1775, after Lexington and Concord, as he took command, he proclaimed to Canadian allies, we have taken up arms in defense of our liberty, our property, our wives, and our children. We are determined to preserve them or die. So this reflects a consistent theme. Armed resistance as a defensive necessity is to protect inherited liberties, property rights, representation, no taxation without consent, not revolutionary zeal for its own sake. So what I say, and by the way, so they're trying to also now criminalize you if you speak out against this or organize against this. So a bipartisan so Democrats are so Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are just as big of puppets to Israel as Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump. So this is bipartisan, right? So this is Israel first, you last. No, you can. They don't work for you. The elected people don't work for you. They work for the billionaire class, the WES Davos class. That's who they have bosses and they don't work for you. Okay. They certainly don't work for the people that voted for them. So this is from right now. Bipartisan Senate duo unveils sweeping anti-Semitism bill. Okay. And so what's in that? $1 billion for Jewish communities, censor speech critical of Israel or Zionism, censor students critical of Israel, censor online speech critical of Israel. The bill is introduced by 2 Israeli lobby-funded Zionist occupied government agents. So they're going to criminalize that. They're in the process of doing that. And so again, it's not only that, it's AI data centers, it's endless wars, it's the divestment from people, it's people not being able to have a job because of AI, and they're building prisons because they know a revolution is coming, unrest is coming. And that's why there was $80 billion for ICE prisons and ICE. So that's the new Gestapo, and those prisons aren't there for illegal immigrants. They want them here. That's
okay, now do you see why I have more so questions, but when I see these guys talking out loud, problems when it comes to, hey, you guys failed so badly on examining the Trump character, but now you're doing a new examination to go against the Trump character, and now you're telling us we need to go that direction. Like, hey, follow us this way. Here's the assessment. But you failed in your initial assessment. And let's be honest, assessments before that, but now you're providing a solution for it. For all these scenarios that you got wrong in the first place. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Like, hey, isn't it okay. Once again, in my humble opinion, if Israel's poof disappears from planet Earth, guess what? The things you're complaining about now are still fucking happening. Because of the character of the people that are doing these things. Hey, Jimmy, can I offer you $20 billion to shoot a child in the face? If that's not possible, but it is possible for someone else to do that, there's a difference in character there, right? So thus, we should probably assess the character. Let's go there, because that's apparently where the problem is. But don't worry, they'll say, Jordan, that takes too much time. I don't want to do that. I got to go fight this over here, or I'm too busy. Get off your armchair, Jordan, on and so forth. But meanwhile, it's like, yo, it keeps coming back this direction every fucking time. And instead of like dealing with it, right? Swallow your pride and deal with it. They just say, well, it's them over there. It's them over there. That's the actual problem. Them.
I mean, he did just cite the Thomas Jefferson, the Tree of Liberty needs to be soaked in blood of patriots and tyrants every once in a while to maintain living. That's the statement that he was reading, and that's how it ends.
Well,
to justify shooting politicians that don't agree with his stance on Israel.
Well, once again, Jimmy will add the caveat, hey, I'm against violence, but, and read an entire George Washington fucking statement, right, of justifying doing,
Thomas.
No, that was George Washington, according to Jimmy at least. I don't fucking know personally.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, more kind of weird, actually, because that motherfucker, like, Jimmy, you're not doing shit, bro. You ain't doing shit in that realm. Once again, he's not advocating for it in words.
Calling for it versus I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and no mention of ideas. And once again, not saying I know everything. It's just more so like, damn, I feel like I just keep getting this shit correct when it comes to, behavior, actions, and all that shit. To where it's like, hey, maybe my predictions could be legit in regards to how do you fix this? But there's always a stop sign there waiting for it. Granted, I don't take it personally, and I don't go crazy about it. But, there's always that stop sign. Hey, man, maybe you should think about this. Like, something as simple as that is met with, psychological armies of resistance. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to watch you fucking, play with a fork next to a fucking electrical socket. As I say, hey, man, don't do that. Yeah, bro, get out of my head. I'm free, okay? I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, it's up to you, but, like, I'm telling you, like, you shouldn't do that.
Make sure you lick the fork.
Yeah.
Before you do it. Get some water involved. It might help the transaction.
Just, hey, rub your feet on the carpet first and, like, whatever. It's just like I see zippo movement in that direction. Which is why when people say the idea of like things have evolved because the internet exists, like, has it? This guy still thinks like a fucking caveman. At best. At best, it could be worse. There could be nefarious thought processes behind this too. Right?
I get what he's saying, and I do understand what the founding fathers were saying with all this stuff. And yes, if you just let your government run wild, you get what you deserve. Yes, and there is a point to call it back, and that may come down to a second revolution.
Yeah, but all these things happen already. Good.
What the thing you kind of brought up through the years is what gives you right to be the guy that calls for the revolution? What gives you the right to be the next leader? Like, why are you worthy?
Well, that's partially part of it, but let's get to like even like what I would say what I would call dumb guy logic, where it's like, hey, as simple as this, why are those guys doing it? Why are the quote unquote bad guys doing the bad guy stuff? And if you write it off with no real thought behind it, just kind of memes and something going
Israel.
viral.
That's his answer. He said it. He's giving you the answer. Israel.
Is that a good enough answer? You go from what happened with when events happen. You go right from, hey man, hey, I got the situation wrong. But you know what? It wasn't my fault. It's Israel. It's over them. Over there. It's Israel's fault. They did it. Has that person fucking thought about it? In my opinion, probably not. And in fact, they'll tell you to shut up and go away. Just to say something very simple, dumb guy logic level, like, hey, think about it. There could be a bigger play happening. There could be, maybe you messed up and did something. Like all of it should be considered. But for some reason, less information is better information when it comes to these motherfuckers. Which is what? Counterintuitive. Right? That makes no fucking sense.
It draws the bigger question of, was Kentucky District 4 decided on Thomas Massie's allegiance or not allegiance to Israel, and that was the sole issue?
And also the other shallow idea, which is, well, the Israel lobby pumped so much money into this Ed Galrain guy that he won because he had so much money. Another shallow idea with no real thought behind it. It's almost like a totem itself, right? And
No,
like, how are you
it's
gonna
not
fix
even.
things if you're not diagnosing it.
It's not even. It's not even thought behind it. Is that the only thing? You and I will never know why Trump got mad at Massie, because Trump didn't say anything that made sense.
Yeah.
And then Massie didn't like correct him and say, "No, bro, I was at the party the other night and I flicked a cigarette at his wife or something." He didn't tell us what it was.
Yeah. Well, his answer was, well, he votes no on everything, right? That was his words out loud argument, at least. He's not a true Republican. He votes against everything I do. He's not a true American. Or sorry, not a true Republican, not a true America firster. But once again, if Jimmy's going down the route of like, well, it's just old people and money in politics and older people, right, who watch Fox News or whatever the fuck they watch. If he goes with that, even that is extremely shallow of fucking response to all this, which means he's guilty of the thing he's accusing older people of, like of just turn my brain off, just follow what's said out there, right? No thinking involved. Jesse, I think you're
this whole thing is like I mean, sure, okay, Trump was mad at him or something, but like that doesn't matter, like if this it can matter that maybe he loses because of that, but that can be a normal election, right? Like I guess what's the things that, like, why are we talking about it? One, because it was definitely a surprise, right? Like, at least for a lot of people, it was a surprise.
for me, yeah.
And then second, it's like it doesn't seem to make very much sense. So there's some question as to like, did it actually really happen, or did something else happen? Right? Like, we don't know, but like that's why we're kind of scrutinizing it. Right?
Oh yeah. And Jimmy doesn't have the thoughts to go there, which is why I was trying to go like topic by topic yesterday, where it's like, okay, let's pretend everything was kosher, everything's legit. People just genuinely voted in favor of Galrain over Massie. Let's go over that scenario. Okay, now let's look at the sus aspect to it. Like, is this legit? Was there rigging happening? Is there like kind of something that's adjacent to tampering or fraud, right? Like the things that Ed talks about of like people doing like kind of funny money groundwork to trick people into voting for it. Like that's rigging too, in my opinion, at least. Right. And then there's like straight up, we just took votes and gave it to one guy and said, fuck the other guy. Right. Like those scenarios should be thought of. And Jimmy's not, he better go over that, right? He has to. I'll hit play. If this video gets whack enough, I'm moving on to the last video where you're going to see someone trying to poach human beings for a political cause that he may not even actually believe in himself. But let's hit play on this with Jimmy. Here we go.
Why they're expanding H-1B visas, and they want cheap labor here. So that's there for you when you rise up against this, because they know it's coming. That's why the big beautiful bill also had in a provision that local governments cannot regulate AI data centers. Okay, so it's a surveillance state and a Gestapo and a prison to put you in when you rise up against this and rise up against the billionaire Zionist-controlled government. So
let me just reset real fast. It's lagging. Sorry, YouTube. All right, here we go.
What do we need to do? What can we do? Okay, so what I've said on Twitter and what I've said here before is that we need to shut down the machine. We have to do it non-violently and shut down the machine. So that takes away the revenue stream of the Epstein billionaire class. And when you do that,
they just break them in England.
So just like I told you, all the No Kings rallies, the women's rally, those were psyops, because when you have a rally and you have a demonstration and a protest, you have to have a demand. And there was no demand connected to those. So what needs to happen is workers need to stop going to work. So just like what the truckers did in Canada, that was a template for what we need to do. We need to shut down the machine and do it non-violently and do it joyously. And that's why they know that's the power, because as soon as the people realize that the Epstein class actually has no power, that we actually have all the power, which is what the truckers proved during COVID, that we have all the power. That's why they overreacted so hard to them. And so now what needs to happen is, like, for instance, the railroad is the backbone of capitalism in the United States. If those railroad workers didn't show up for work for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, that would do it. Or the port workers, or the truck drivers in America, or all the grocery store workers in America, or if any combination thereof. If there were two of them, even more powerful. All the Amazon if they all come together. So this is like, you don't need a general strike. You don't need everybody. You don't need school teachers to go on strike. You don't need librarians to go on strike. You don't need doctors or hospital workers to go on strike. You need the people who are the backbone of capitalism to not show up to work. And they need to be willing to, some of them, not, some of them need to be like the union leaders or the leaders of whatever this is, needs to be willing to go to jail for a few days. And so.
Okay. I kind of agree in the sense of non-participation. I'm more of the Fight Club thing, where it's like, once again, we drive your cars, we pump your gas. Oh, that's obviously doctors and nurses. That's different. That's regular people looking after regular people, right? Because of health emergencies, accidents, on and so forth, right? But I say for teachers, teachers too. I'd say everyone that can. If they're like, yo, we're not doing this till this motherfucker leaves. Well, if you go through a process of impeachment here, like, no, you don't need that. Get them the fuck out of here. You're done. You're done. Hey, he's back up. You're gone too. Hey, the other team that claims to be opposing him, you're gone too. Fuck out. Get the fuck out. I think it's that simple. It really is. So thus, no violent revolution is needed in that regard. It's just motherfuckers are probably too conditioned, or too dumb, or borrowed too many ideas to think that this is my only option, man. That's all I could do. But meanwhile, if they actually get the numbers to lead a violent revolution, then you have the numbers to do a non-violent revolution, meaning walk away. Say, no more, we're good. We're chilling, we're good. All right, here we go. Okay, so a little solution thing there. Fair enough. But his assessment still is that's just old people that voted for it. So let's see if he says any more to this. Here we go.
So, I'm not saying that that's going to happen right now, but when people finally get sick enough, when gas prices go to $9 a gallon, and we're out of food in the winter because they don't have fertilizer, and food prices also go, and people can't afford to live there. Right now, people are treading water. Half the country can't afford a $500 emergency. And remember this, who voted for Donald Trump? It was people who made under $50,000. It was black people. It was Hispanics. The only people and the Democrats lost all those people. And the only people who voted for the Democrats, which Kamala Harris, was people who made $100,000 or more. So people are desperate. They were desperate enough to vote for Trump because he was the only one at least giving them lip service. And the Democrats were so stupid, they wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even campaign, lie to us. They wouldn't even do that. That's how owned and stupid they are. So what is going to happen at some point, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but maybe when it's $9 a gallon gas, and when people don't have food to buy or can't afford to buy the food because they can't, the farmers, 70% of them said they can't afford to grow food because they can't afford the fertilizer because of these Israel wars. So at some point, what needs to happen is that people need to stay home from work. The people who are the backbone of capitalism, the truck drivers, the railroad workers, the port workers, the grocery store workers, whatever, they need to stay home from work for a few days or a couple of weeks, and they have to have a demand.
You want to pause?
And the demand.
So I'm just going to speak on like my perspective on the truck thing a little bit.
Okay.
You know the idea of a picket line, right?
Yeah.
For a strike.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to somehow stop people from crossing the picket line for your strike to have an effect.
Yeah.
About 1 million out of 3 million of the truck drivers that are on the road, maybe even more. It might be the majority of truck drivers on the road are company drivers, meaning they're not owner operators. So let's say you could at least start pitching the idea of a strike for the truck drivers. But it's not solid it's going to go through. It's not going to work to the effect. Well, then what do I have to come back from? Because my company's already sending out company-wide messages. If any of you guys fucking participate in this strike, you won't have a job to come back to.
Yeah.
That simple idea. It's like, are you going to take that risk with, for one, it's not even your truck.
Yeah.
And you're crossing the picket, you're in essence crossing the picket line by continuing to do what the company is ordering you to do.
Well, then it comes back to the human thing, right?
Yeah.
It comes
But
back to
just that aspect alone versus an owner operator, and an owner operator, like the biggest thing is if I stop rolling, I'm not making money. And by the time you're an owner operator, you're taking care of a $250,000 fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
You probably have a family that needs to fucking eat. Can you take these yeah. So yeah, I mean, sure, if it gets to $9 an hour or $9 a gallon of gas, yeah, I mean, society will probably come to a halt. Unless it's like cooking the frog thing Alex Jones always says. They slowly do it over time. But if it immediately goes to $9 an hour,
say that. The boiling frog thing.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with that. It's that once again, if motherfuckers have not been engaged or thinking about these things before, and all of a sudden gas is $9 a gallon, right? Do they know how to deal with it? Or I expect someone's going to feed off their anger.
It would be more than one industry. Yeah, it'd be more than one. It'd be fucking chaos in the streets.
Yeah, and someone's going to walk in as some sort of leader and say, follow me, follow me. This is how we do things. And it could be quite nefarious. It could be pre-set up, let's be honest. And Jimmy's saying, like, I get Jimmy's idea of how to quote-unquote non-violently do something when it comes to protesting. I get the idea, but if we're sitting back and waiting for them to get really angry to where, let's be real, when people get angry, not everyone, but sometimes when people get angry, they can't see straight. And thus, they're liable to do some wild shit out of anger. Because
there's something that he said that was, because I do love to poke holes in his stuff, but he just said you got to be willing to go to jail for a few days. Okay, now the thing is that when we take a look at the famous letter by Martin Luther King, letters from Birmingham jail, I think he was only in jail for 3 or 4 days for that actually stint.
Yeah.
But do you know what's the longest stay that Martin Luther King spent in jail or prison?
Not sure.
It was 3 or 4 months. Yeah. The thing is that a lot of these bougie activists, right, like Jimmy's friends, they do think that going to jail for a couple days is really the length or the the limit of
They think the
what's
realism. They think that's
yeah.
realistic.
If they really was disempowered, they could be expect to one jail stay can turn into a prison sentence lasting decades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mandela
somewhere in
was
this
20
sense, you got to
years.
yeah, so this idea that activism is just a day trip or you might have to go to jail for a couple days. What does he even know about going to jail, man? He doesn't know nothing. You know what I mean? It's these people that I believe Ali has had something about these people who haven't been to jail that are advising this as a way to get things done. It's very irresponsible.
There's that,
Right.
and then there's what are those guys' character made of? If they do go to jail for more than a couple days, right? Do they bend? Do they
Why doesn't
twist?
Jimmy
Do
Dore
they
go to
become
jail for a
informants?
couple of days? How about that?
Are there
I want to see his
principles
ass
in
go to
them?
jail for a couple of days.
Yeah, fair enough. But I want to hear if their characters can withstand, because I can see that from anyone from any walk of life, whether you come from a wealthy
Right.
background or poor background. It's about character. How much gumption do you have? How much integrity do you have? And that's the thing where I'm like, no one's asking questions about that. So thus,
I've
you see
I've
a lot of
bought
people
like
flip, right? You just said
stuff for people in prison. You know what I mean? I bought like some care packages. So I would immediately buy some care packages for people in his prison.
well, fair enough.
Right.
But like,
And
Some
he's
suggestions.
real quick, what
so
Dubster was on Dubster, it was about what you were saying with the guys. Let's say, they own their trucks and they run their own business, right? Where it's like, hey, I got to feed my family. This is kind of a desperate situation. That same mentality exists in regards to, damn, they want to put me in jail for 10 years, right? Where it's like, now it becomes about self-preservation.
well, on
And
top
like,
of
do you have the
that,
gumption with that? Yeah, go ahead.
on top of that, the trucking industry is so regulated. If you have an arrest within 5 years, you cannot have a license for those 5 years
Okay.
for CDL trucking. So all these industries he's describing, if they're licensed, like
Yeah.
you're going to be licensed for trains, some sort of way. You're licensed for that. You get arrested, you're because that's terrorist level issues. That's why they go through probably have your background and drug trains, big time. So you got an arrest record and want to do that? It's not sure. You might spend a couple of days in jail, but you might lose your ability to do your fucking industry for truckers. It's 5 years
And that's
for
part of the
any
point.
kind of fucking arrest.
That's part of the point. That's why I keep like that little statement again. Once again, I'll try to find better words for it, but you're gonna walk in my direction anyways. You're gonna have to, because let's say everyone's all of a sudden like, you know what, we're gonna stand against this, and because gas is $9 or whatever world event is happening, to where we're like, we're tired of this. Well, guess what? In those moments where you're in a sticky situation, you haven't worked with your personal teammates, your psychological teammates within yourself. You're liable to crack. And thus easily moved, easily used, easily controlled, on and so forth. So like, why not get that shit started or done with beforehand, before you walk into a situation, right? That's my opinion. That's what I keep screaming. And when an event if an event plays out, which is very possible to me, and you see people running around with their heads cut off, they're chicken with their heads cut off style running around, right? And chaos and all this stupid shit going down. And it's like, well, what do I say other than like, told you? Like, what do I do? I'll help anyone I can help, but like, it's still like, you guys weren't worried about this because you had your head down, focus on your shit, but it wasn't fully your actual shit. The you thing there, that's, doing this action or that action or engaging in this direction. You didn't work on that part, so like, you're liable to get fucked with. Honestly.
No, I'm just saying
What
it's
skin in the game does
ridiculous
he have too?
for Jimmy to be calling on other people to do stuff he ain't doing.
Yeah,
That's all I'm really getting at.
We'll have a megaphone
that's
on
the
the internet. It'll
skin
be
in the
this.
game, right? Like it doesn't cost them anything to say, well, we have to sacrifice, right? Like go to jail or whatever, make things happen. But if he's not doing that himself,
I
like
understand. Yes. Listen,
he's throwing bodies at the problem and not,
I
yeah,
get
like
I get that point, but there's a lot of motherfuckers that are doing the same thing that don't have an internet megaphone. That's what I'm saying. Like that this kind of social archetype thing that Jimmy Dore does, right? And his thought process is not some sort of alien thing to me, at least. It's all over the fucking place. It really is. And without that integrity there, you're liable to get fucking rolled, bro. Straight up. That exists out there. Like Jimmy wagging his finger at the camera saying, you should do this, you should do that. Like, well, guess what? Someone's doing that, in their kitchen right now with no one watching. Like, the same thing. Neither one of them are working on anything about themselves. It's so we get I'm telling you, man, if the glass shatters, like, and motherfuckers don't know how to put it back together, yeah, expect stupid shit to happen. And then here are the little wolves. What did I say? The sheep in wolf's clothing. Wait, no, the wolf in sheep's clothing, walking around, just picking up new bodies and new teammates, get them to do their fucking bidding. Because it's easy. Because motherfuckers were not looking on their own integrity in the first place. They're liable to get moved and controlled, and that's where things get fucked really badly.
Right. You think revolution's gonna bring out the best in people, or you think it's gonna bring out the fucking worst in people? And then think about what people do in the shadows of a fucking revolution.
Like,
yeah,
they play
there's
games.
people that prepare people's minds to be like towards that type of thing. And I don't know, like what did he want a revolution for? Like I've been hearing more calls for that, but like I mean, do people want the same thing?
A revolution for
Right.
lower gas prices. It's like, what?
Okay, he wants lower gas prices.
Doesn't even make sense in regards to the depth of what
No,
being a human
well-
feels like, right?
well, that's kind of part of my point about like it seems like it keeps going back to those type of like answers.
Yeah.
Where it almost doesn't matter what the reason is, right? Like it's almost like it's a pretext for like, oh, that's actually what like people want, like a change of the system or a whole, like they want to do something different, but that's really the goal. It's like they just look for excuses to do it. Like, oh, we need to unionize. Okay, like maybe sometimes there's good reasons for it, but like it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be the answer to everything, right? Like that doesn't make sense anymore. If you already have the answer before the question, yeah, that that sounds weird to me.
They start from the basement, Jesse. They do. They think of the basement world they fucking live in, and how do I, like, hey, the best solution to whatever said problem, okay, unions, right? Versus the other direction. Hey, if you were God, what's the best possible thing you could do right now? Okay, you're not God, you're Bob. What is the best thing Bob could do for this whole pie? Like, once again, give the there's just thoughts towards that pie in the sky idea. Maybe come up with something in that arena if you actually engage with that. But instead, we'd start from like, we're bottom tier. Let's start there. All right, let's okay, we don't have hammers, so let's grab rocks to nail things into fucking to make buildings, right? It's like you're starting there instead of like, hey, what if we, I don't know, did a hammer in the first place, right? What if we just went directly there? Is that possible? If it's impossible, okay, fine. Is there a next step below that maybe can get close to it? Instead, they go the other direction, straight up, like in their thoughts, where there is no limitation. They limit their own thought process, and you wonder why you
Well,
see the dumb fuck answers and solutions to things that exist in the world. They're starting from the fucking basement level and saying, "This is cool and cozy. I like it here."
well, with Jimmy, you kind of see something different, though. You see, he's been calling for a revolution for years, just like
In a way,
Tim Pool Civil War. Like it's the same for Jimmy versus Tim Pool on that revolution Civil War.
Hold on.
Let me say what I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
So this $9 a gallon of gas is just the catalyst for what he really wants is the revolution. It's just the perfect excuse. And he's just like, well, if that scenario occurs, won't you be part of my revolution? Well, if you can't feed your family, will you be part of my revolution?
He doesn't want a revolution. He wants to be edgy. He's a millionaire. He doesn't want a revolution. If there's a revolution, I'll show up his house and take his shit. He doesn't want that.
That's true.
He wants to be edgy. Yeah.
Maybe.
I hope there's a revolution. I'll go and take all this stuff. I'll definitely take his stuff.
Yeah, you'd be part of the
First place I'm
problem,
going.
you dingbat. You'd be part of the problem.
I think that
I am the problem.
Yeah, you'd shoot yourself in the dick and say, well, that's just hey, man, I got screwed over, so you know what? I'm allowed to shoot myself in the dick. I love doing that. It's my choice.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, giggle it up now. Yeah, giggle it up. Go ahead. Fucking.
And I don't mean like
brain
what
rot,
you just
man.
said, like
It's brain
I'll
rot.
take your
That's okay.
stuff, but it makes sense that like
It feels good to be that melodramatic. I get it.
If you call for chaos, like you are actually creating those type of scenarios where people will do that. Like it just goes hand in hand.
Fuck, man. Imagine begging to be the guy on a documentary in 50 years, say like, yo, man, listen, I messed up. My bad. Like, who wants to be that? Fuck me, dude. Let's hit play. Let's keep it moving. Like I said, thinking is the problem here. It's a lack of thinking, I'm sorry. It's the actual fucking problem here. That's okay, though. Just make sure it's okay for you when the lights turn out. Here we go.
Need to be these are my ideas. I'm sure you have others, so leave them in the comments and leave them wherever.
No groveling when the lights turn out.
One of the demands has to be you have to get money out of politics.
No.
Now, so we have a full-blown corruption. We're run by corrupt criminals, right? So so now corporations and billionaires can spend as much money as they want on elections. So that's not an election. That's a bribery scheme, and that's why we live in the country we live in. And so what we need to do is get money out of politics altogether and have a public financed elections, and the election cycle can only be 6 weeks. Jimmy, you're going to have the government pay for...
Who's looking over the public financing, Jimmy? Like, you come back to the same problem.
The incumbent.
It goes back to the same problem. So you're stuck, like, okay.
No, it's worse. The incumbent would be in charge of it. The one currently in government, his challenger would be at even more of a disadvantage.
They could write 10,000 rules of how to make it so that it's actually neutral. And guess what? You're still dealing with human beings that can just lie or cheat. You end up with the same problem over and over. It's like we're allergic to ourselves or something. Like we're our own virus. It's kind of crazy looking from the outside. Like, it's actually kind of crazy, but I'll give Jimmy a couple more minutes, then I'm gonna move on to the Kyle video. This actually went different than I thought it would go. Jimmy Dore, that is, but in a way, when it comes to not for him as a person, but when looking at the images, right, the kind of the art in front of your face, he didn't go full blown towards the
You say
it's
fart?
rigged.
The fart in front of our face?
That's right, the fart in front of our face. If you look at it from that angle, you can see like, okay, there's at least some parity between what we saw from Daniel McAdams talking to Ron Paul and then Jimmy Dore himself, where he's not even implying the idea of rigged. He's just saying, well, these guys got brainwashed by Fox News, and that's why the results are the results. I'm kind of okay with that parallel. And then I think Kyle goes a different direction, and then we can, like, once again, as observers and using this as a backdrop, paint a picture with it. You know what I'm saying? If we're, whatever. All right, here we go. Just a little bit more, Jimmy.
Yes, you have to get a certain amount of petitions, certain amount of signatures, and if you meet that threshold, the government, we have a capped on spending what you could spend, and that will save our country from the spiral it's in. It's because it's imploding right now. What will also do, it will give us, it will save us trillions of dollars in the long run. Because right now we're spending trillions of dollars in debt, which makes all of our money worth less. And they're giving it right into the pockets of the Epstein billionaire class, the military industrial complex, the tech bros, and Wall Street. Okay.
Okay. We just gonna be the same spiel we've already heard. Let's move it on.
Oh God. Oh God.
Kyle's in his whiteout. He's in his North Carolina blue. It's Tar Heel blue on.
Oh no,
Share this
that's
reference.
Kentucky. That's Kentucky, University of Kentucky colors too.
Nah, Kentucky's a darker blue. That's like Carolina
Oh,
blue
okay.
right there. Hold on, let me reset real fast.
It's still Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, hipster boy toy son. his metrosexual son. All right.
Why Colonel Sanders died.
Why Colonel Sanders voted for Ed Galbraith. He's like, look at my son. Look what happened to this world. I gotta vote for the traditionalist. All right, let's apply. Here we go. And once again, it's free and open when it comes like, okay, what am I gonna listen to? But if I hear like enough going in a weird direction, I'm just like, I'm done with this. Honestly, it's more about like just going over the idea of it being rigged. Here we go.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having an awesome day. I have quite a show for you, and yesterday, if we're being serious, was a massive, massive day. So in just a second, we had a big Democratic Tea Party tsunami to talk about. It's win after win after win for the left flank. So we'll talk about that. We also have Thomas Massie goes down. Trump went after him, ruined his career. We'll talk about what that says about the Republican Party in the year 2026. Also, just earth-shattering.
To be fair, to hear this out here, remember, if Kyle's saying, like, look, there's a left shift going on, that's why people weren't supporting Massie, or Trump just said the words out loud, said the endorsement out loud, so that's why Massie lost, and that means that Republicans are actually just fully brainwashed by Trump. I wonder if he goes over... Once again, what Jimmy did, right? The age group thing. To be like, okay, let's say it was all legit. The election was legit. There was no tampering, no voter fraud, like straight up, or election fraud straight up, right? That would mean like, okay, these older guys voted for Galbraith, right? But if Kyle doesn't bring that up, he might imply that, like, see, look, everyone on the right, they're all dumb. They're all big-time Trump supporters, no matter what he does. I've seen that narrative out there. I've seen it out there. And Cal would not surprise me if he tried to sell
I just thought of this. This is a primary. What if a fucking Democrat takes District 4, Kentucky?
It would definitely support the voter, the fucking fraud idea a lot more, where it's like, hey, you just got the biggest turnout in Kentucky, that district's history, and then you lost to a Democrat somehow. That would be like, what? No, wait a minute. Did they cheat for this?
And I definitely don't know who the Democrat. And I definitely don't know who the Democrat for that District 4 is.
Yeah. But all right.
Neither do the Democrats.
I know. No one. But all
if
right.
Massie runs independently, it's very possible that this could happen.
I get your with the
numbers. I think he's doing a write-in campaign.
Okay, but the Galbraith guy would have to still get a lot more than
he could split the vote.
57,000, right?
Not really.
No, you'd have to get a lot more, right? If they're like, hey, Massie has no chance of winning, I have to, and I'm definitely not voting Democrat, but I want to vote. Galbraith would have to get more than
the number of voters this year was astronomically high, right? So
on paper, yeah.
It may actually contest what happened in the general. It may actually even be more votes than what happened in the general.
Okay, but once again, these guys got a turnout that was not seen before, right? Now, in this district, how Democrat leaning voters are there? How many compared to that?
It's Louisville. It's on the border of Cincinnati. I mean, it's not just Louisville. It's some rural too, but Louisville is part of it.
But Massie was he like smacking around a Democrat every time he ran, anyways? And if Galrain just got 10,000 more votes than he did, on paper, he's supposed to easily win this, right? Even with Massie somewhat splitting some stuff there, but if Massie was winning by such a large margin, wouldn't that mean, even with the Massie cutaway of that, Galrain would still have enough to win, right? Am I tripping?
The way they're marketing this is actually right to keep the control of the party leadership.
It's turnout. It's about turnout. Will Democrats be motivated now to be like, that's a fucking seat we can take?
Yeah, to like switch parties to like do those kinds of things, or maybe these things don't usually happen. They don't really do the switching to make.
But when they do, they make fucking headlines.
Is that a guarantee, by the way, Ed, that he is actually running independent? Is that like officially announced?
Look it up. Not sure, but I saw some stuff saying that he's running and writing. I don't know if it's officially announced yet, but he'll probably make an announcement if he's doing that.
Yeah,
you'll know about
it.
He
He was doing more like words and narratives towards running in 2028 as a presidential candidate than I heard about him running, like still running. I heard the words of like
stage, right? But the crowd was yelling 2028. It wasn't him. If you watch the footage, it was the crowd.
He was kind of into it.
Congress?
He was kind of into it.
They might have been playing. Yeah, he might have been playing. Right, it might have been a setup.
But he also said, "Hey guys, listen, I got 7 months left.
I don't have anything to announce tonight."
No, he said I got 7 months left.
Oh, that's how he. He finished with, "I'm not gonna make any announcements of what we're gonna be doing."
Yeah, it seemed like he accepted.
He said somewhat like that.
Yeah, but it seemed like he accepted the defeat versus still running as independent. That's what it sounded like. He's like, "Yeah, I got 7 months left. I'm gonna finish up. But listen, I got this Epstein stuff done in 6 months. Guess what? I got 7 months left. Watch what I do with it." Type of shit, right? But, all right. Let's hit play. Let's see where this provocateur goes.
Mind-boggling corruption because Trump is now exempting himself from all taxes and protecting himself and his family from any and all potential IRS in 2024. New, completely made up, completely fake and hilarious scandal where Fox News is desperately trying to take down Graham Plattner and failing miserably. You do not want to miss this one. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So you guys do me a big favor, subscribe to the.
He's a Democrat running in Maine, and he says all the party lines that Kyle wants to hear.
Oh, is he one going at Susan Collins?
Yes.
Okay.
But there's plenty of signals that guy might be full of shit, but Kyle doesn't care because
she's safe. She's corrupt to the level where they'll protect her on the Republican side as best they can.
But with good advertisement, sometimes, right? A good carny ride, they have to let you win every so often, right? Or a good slot machine in a casino somewhere, right? They have to let you win sometimes so you have the illusion to keep coming back. So thus, if this Graham Plattner guy wins, and let's say he's full of shit, then boom, you feel like your vote counted for something. Meanwhile, maybe it didn't. Maybe this guy was a setup the entire time. And I have some suspicions of this dude. I really do.
There's a real fight over Maine, though.
Fair enough, but you're fucked.
Republican Democrat line. Yeah.
You're fucked or you're fucked. It possibly, right. I've done some research on the Plattner guy. Not looking good for me personally, but he says the words that Kyle wants to hear out loud, so that's why he'll just go that direction. I'll probably be wrong, and then he'll move on like he didn't say those things that were absolutely incorrect in the first place, right? No apology, no nothing. He'll just keep it moving.
Collins full on corrupt, full on. But I'm saying they'll protect her on the Republican side as best they can.
Yeah, but you have a once again bearded ex-military hunter-looking face saying fuck billionaires, fuck this Israel stuff, and you know what? I love guns, right? To where they can kind of take votes from the other team potentially, right?
Okay.
And especially with Trump being what Trump's doing, right? Where it's like a lot of people don't like that guy right now, And when they see someone that's from the same ilk, in the sense of, you know, God, country, and guns, they might pick them, right? Potentially. But let's play. And Kyle, let's play. Here we go.
Channel and click that bell icon that helps out big time and costs you nothing at all.
That's right.
You can also support the show on Patreon and sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. By the way, the reason I always bring that up and do the shameless plugs is because we're real independent media. So I've never talked to an advertiser. I've never done an ad read. I never will. So you guys support the show from the ground up, and I'm deeply appreciative for that. Even if you just give $2 a month or tip $5 a month or whatever it is, that goes a very long way. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Truly appreciate it. And then also, everybody go sub to Cohen's World. She's hand-picked Trump candidate in Kentucky's 4th district. Ended up winning and ousting one of the handful of half-decent Republicans, Thomas Massie. Now, Thomas Massie is, of course, a libertarian Republican, kind of like a Ron Paul type or a Rand Paul type. Honestly, more like Ron Paul than Rand Paul. He's, I believe, more of a principled libertarian than even Rand Paul is. So this is a guy who had stood up to Trump when it came to the Epstein files and the child trafficking ring that Trump was protecting, and he stood up to Trump when it comes to this illegal war against Iran. Those are the big areas where he breaks from Trump. So MAGA was furious at him. The Israel lobby was furious at him. And they rained down holy hell and handpick this absolute goober who knows absolutely nothing about politics, ran on zero policies, and they fired an Israel lobby money cannon directly at Thomas Massie's face, and they were able to take him down. So as you could see last night.
So this so far does not sound like he's going in the direction of, hey, maybe this was rigged. Especially when you have Kyle's content on the Bernie Sanders, right? 2016, 2015 primary, right? Against Hillary Clinton. And even the 2020.
No, they just they out-advertise him. That's what he's saying.
I mean, he'd have to consider that other idea just to maintain the consistency of character, of the character he plays on TV, right? But yeah, okay. Okay. Money in politics, bro. Here we go.
About politics, ran on zero policies, and they fired an Israel lobby money cannon directly at Thomas Massie's face, and they were able to take him down. So as you could see last night, as of 7:41 p.m., Decision Desk said that Ed Galreen was going to win the Kentucky House 4 Republican primary. This is literally the most expensive primary now in American history, y'all. In American history. As APAC Tracker shows here.
What's up?
Oh, Ed Sheen.
I just wanted to bring this up. Now, we saw the little video where Kyle's comparing AOC to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, could he do that with Thomas Massie? He'd do the same thing? Especially on, like, Israel, right? Could he do that? Probably not, which is why they don't make those videos, right? Most likely. That's off-brand. That hurts the brand. You can't do that. All right, here we go.
Thomas Massie was unseated by AIPAC's Ed Galreen. Most expensive in history, this race is, for the House. And then as you can see here, you have Ed Galreen took $15.5 million from pro-Israel PACs. $15.5 million. Thomas Massie took $0 from pro-Israel PACs. So the Israel lobby was massively against Massie and massively for Ed Galreen, who, again, I want to be clear, he's like some CIA, deep state, former Navy SEAL nobody who they just plucked out of obscurity, and they were like, we'll make you a politician. You're basically a blank slate, and you'll vote for genocide, and you'll vote for endless money and endless weapons to Israel, and you'll basically be Trump's ball coddler and stuff. He's nothing.
Elections.
What?
With against Massie. How, like, it's a nice picture on the screen. How did AIPAC fail on the prior Massie elections?
I don't know.
Like,
it's that,
like, the picture's cool and everything. Like, it's a nice story, but
AIPAC looked over Massie previously.
Yeah.
And
it's not like Kyle really supports this guy. It's just, I guess he's just trying to either create rifts or, like, I don't know.
Well, he's okay now because he lost. Like, Thomas Massie's okay to be like, hey, he's a better version of Republican because, well, he's not even here anymore. So you know what? He lost. right, it's all good. All right, here we go.
From the back. So that's why we're going to pick you. And guess what? Here we are. Think about what this says about MAGA, y'all.
He's
What
no
this says
longer
about
a threat.
MAGA is, if
Us.
anything, we're too kind on them.
There it is.
They truly are a cult. They're a fascist,
There it
terrorist,
is.
imperialist death cult. And here we have a scenario where the only areas, Thomas Massie voted 91% of the time with Republicans. 91. The 9% where he disagreed was to say, release the Epstein files, take down the child sex traffickers, and don't wage illegal wars of aggression. And even that went too far for them. You cannot break from Trump even 1%. So now the Republican Party is even more cucked, is even more pathetic, is even more goose-stepping and zig-heiling and marching behind their fat pedophile president and doing whatever the hell he wants them to do. So we have more.
Okay, so he's gonna go over the ages here to make it make more sense. Is the Trump cult just all old people? Will he go that direction? Because that doesn't make sense. In fact, the first run for Trump was a lot more about younger people, right? Because on paper, the older people were voting for fucking Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz, right? On paper, right? At least, and Trump was like an internet phenomenon in a way politically. So, make this make sense. Like, hey, the Trump cult. Yeah, Granny on her couch watching Fox News. Is that the real Trump cult you're talking about? It's funny because Kyle will do videos where like, damn, Trump's what's it called? Approval rating is the lowest ever in American history, right? He'll do a video about that, but also say like, yeah, it's a giant cult where they control everything that happens on planet Earth because they're a cult and they're all brainwashed and tricked. So like, it doesn't make sense to me narrative wise, but don't worry, he'll sell it. The audience is not listening in the first place. Let's just be honest about that too. He's lefty Alex Jones. Let's hit play. Here we go.
Or let me show you this. Look at the age breakdown here, okay? Age 70 to 25 was Massie plus 25. Age 26 to 35 was Massie plus 56. Age 36 to 45, Massie plus 38. Age 46 to 55, Massie plus 17. So 55 years old and younger, they were overwhelmingly pro Thomas Massie. But guess what? The Republican Party is made up of a bunch of fat, dying boomers. And so they dragged their sorry asses to the polls in between watching Sean.
You talk to your grandpa like that?
Okay, and age 56 and up, between 56 and 65, it was Galreen plus 18. Between age 66 and 75, it was Galreen plus 35. And age 76 and up, it was Galreen plus 33. But guess what? That is the Republican base. That is the Republican base right there. There's not that many young people in the Republican Party. So it didn't matter that basically everybody under 55 supported Thomas Massie. When push.
Once again, you're saying there was once again, I'm sure he's done videos on Trump's approval rating being like in the dust, right? Like being at the basement level. And who are all those people that went against him? They're saying like, yo, this guy's trash. We're out of here. So he's like, is he lying to us right now? Is it just I think he's just doing a different type of lie called advertisement. That's what it sounds like to me. Because you can't put those stories next to each other and be like, well, there's just so many. That's his base. They're all old people. Okay, but how are they so powerful politically when you're saying Trump has such a low approval rating? Did they all concentrate into Kentucky? You know, randomly when they were voting for Thomas. Once again, those same older people were voting for Thomas Massie all those fucking years. Was it 14 years there, right? So make that make sense. But then again, is he actually trying?
Well, what's 65 minus 14?
65 minus 14, 51?
51.
Yeah.
So, in his first term, everyone was 51 that voted for him.
Oh,
Now they're 65.
Wait, that's a good point. Like, what if we saw those numbers from back then, and what was the vote for 55 and younger then? Or actually, like from 46 to 55. Right? What was the vote?
I'm bullshitting, actually. It wouldn't be exactly like that.
No, I'm just saying, like, if they voted for him 14 years ago, what really changed? It can't just be just their age. Like, something mentally happened, right?
So, from his first election, it was like 20,000 people that voted for him.
No, it's not. That's not it. It was like 68,000. Am I tripping? His first election?
No, his very first election.
Oh, okay. I don't know. What's his first election? Is it 20? It's not 2020. He was there before that, right?
14 minus 8, 28. 2014.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, exactly.
So, I think I saw something that was like 20,000 that voted for him or whatever. It's still double that voted for him this time and lost.
Well, the opponent probably didn't get as much, and I'm sure maybe there's like a bigger split. Maybe there's more names running for primary, or split the vote a little bit more. But when I looked at that 2020 thing, and it's like he got 68,000 out of 80,000 votes, it's like that's overwhelmingly one-sided, right? On a voting level.
You said 2020?
Yeah, in 2020. And it's like, well, what drop-off happened there to where it's like, you know what? I'm changing. For once again, a guy they don't fucking know.
It was a general election, as in president is being elected, and it was Trump versus Biden. There should be a little bit of fall off because midterms people vote less. There's a slight excuse there.
But he was still winning overwhelmingly in the following elections too. When it's 2022,
Right.
Right. So it's quite bizarre, and I'm curious if Kyle actually brings it up as a question. I'm sure plenty of if his fans saw this video that we're doing right now, they'd probably turn it off, turn their brains off, and go be ignoramuses until they wake up at some point. But in reality, like Kyle should question that, right? Sorry, Kyle fanboys, but yeah, Kyle has some work to do on a psychological level and on a philosophical level, even on a political level. He's got some work to do. But all right, let's play. Here we go. Let's hear him go over the age stuff. Although once again, he's saying like that's what the average Trump fan is. It's just an old, and I partially agree. I partially agree with that. It's just, are they showing up in such droves to where it's like they could just outvote anyone? Apparently. Once again, 10,000 more votes in just that little district in Kentucky. There's that many of them that are just disillusioned, that are not disillusioned, but like hardcore, I'm just MAGA thing. I didn't vote in the last like 5-10 elections, but you know what? This one I came out because Trump said so. Doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, they didn't come out when he endorsed Massie, right? They didn't show up for that. On when it comes to the numbers, right? So like, make it make sense. Here we go.
Came to shove. What ended up happening was the objectively worst candidate won. And by the way, we'll get to the Democrats in a second, because as the worst candidates are winning on the Republican side, the best candidates are now winning on the Democratic side.
Oh, really?
And by the way, we'll get to also what was happening at the polls, because there were some people on the ground that did some interviews, like some exit poll interviews. And basically all of the Galreen voters literally knew nothing about Galreen at all. They knew nothing. They just saw some like stupid bullshit, Israel lobby funded AI ad, and they thought, oh, this Thomas Massie fella's no good for the country. I'm going to vote for this other patriot, whatever his name is. In fact, one person totally mispronounced Galreen's name. Another person thought an AI ad was a real ad, and like that Massie had done something really bad when he didn't. So this is where we're at. Like, and by the way,
so were they like, hey man, I didn't vote before, but now I'm going to get out there and vote. They vote against Massie because of this AI ad.
I'd like to see some of these local ads. I'd like to see some of these local ads.
Yeah. It's like, where were they? Did they vote the last couple elections? Where are these old, like, once again, since 2020, right? 6 years ago, let's say they're 65 now. Well, you're 59 then, right? You're 59. What, did something change? Did you vote for Massie there? It was like, oh my God, he's been revealed as a secret. What was the ad, I guess? Like, what was in the ad?
He's gonna get rid of your Social Security.
Let's give it a look. Why not? Like, what was the fucking what do they call it? Like a Thomas Massie attack ad or something like that, right?
Yeah. Or it would be Ed Gein ad, or however you spell that guy's name.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, probably do that.
What's the name?
Makes more sense.
Gallery.
I'm gonna say it wrong every time. I saw your fucking post, Jesse. Ed Gein.
They probably did their commercials and erased them. Immediately erased them when they were
couldn't
done.
find
Like,
him. I was looking yesterday. How is it that we can remember like Game of Thrones like names easier than this?
also,
Tywin Lannister, Tyrion Lannister, Daenerys, Ed Gein.
Okay. Yeah, it's
you're still saying his name wrong, but you know what? I'm okay with that. But
Gal.
okay, Ed Galray. This is a 15-second.
Is there an R in there or
Oh, you found
W?
one?
It's an R. Galrain.
Oh shit.
2 L's.
It's like, fuck. Wow, I did. That's it. Fuck it.
Okay. Yeah, let's see it.
Oh, it's muted. Fuck.
15 seconds.
I don't
15-second
have
ad.
volume. Do you have volume for it?
It was muted. It's Edgar Ray doing farming. This old man. Here we go.
Hero, men who sacrifice for family and country, like Ed Gallrine, 30 years defending America, SEAL Team 6. Gallrine, the hero President Trump supports for Congress.
That's it? That is it?
No,
Like a
that's
statue.
one. That's
I
one.
got him elected.
That's one commercial.
He's a fucking hostage. He looks like a hostage.
Yeah.
Look at this
He looks like a
Skeletor.
senile old man.
Look at
He's like
him.
a senile old man that like being like he's being driven around and shit.
Who fell?
Just
Look
fucking
at
thinking
Trump
twice.
though, Ed. Who fell for that? Look at his face.
Trump not Trump ain't there, right? That's
Yeah.
fake, right?
It's just like, who fell for that? It's like, I don't get it.
All right, that was one commercial. But
Dude, I want to see the one where
I think these could be.
he's got to say this at some point. Thomas Massie is going to take your Social Security away.
He wants to cut Medicaid. Sorry, he wants to cut Medicare. He wants to cut Social Security. He wants to cut the Golden Girls from having syndicated TV shows on their channels. It's Thomas Massie, evil villain of the century.
So that's what the ad money went into.
He
Yo,
wants
his
a soap opera.
Massey's wife's a hottie, bro.
Cheers.
I don't even know.
I can't find a fucking commercial with this guy. What?
I was looking. You know how when we see such a bad movie and we're like, wait a minute, this is money laundering, and it's like, where did the money go for his ads? Like, why can't we find him?
Bro, Blake, put TV ad, bro. You got you even got to spell it out for the AI nowadays.
Maybe, all right, not ad. Let's try commercial.
Or this
2018.
ad was sponsored by Ed Gein, and it.
Okay,
just
that's
has a
it. That's the
picture of
only
him.
one.
Gotta be
They've
more.
used first ad highlighting Trump support.
All right, click that.
This looks like a reaction, not actually. On. This might just be a reaction to what we just saw. What the fuck? They got a black dude on the screen.
The fuck?
Someone who will take down these.
We got to cover Louisville. They got to cover Louisville.
I see no
basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Yo,
It's not even Kentucky. That's
you
Creighton.
good, bro?
What is this?
You good, bro? Yeah, this ain't it, bro.
Big fake.
This is a trap.
Which is the smart thing to do. Hamilton County Judge Jody Lubers is acquitted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first 27 seconds was all Ed Gilleray.
It's just a still photo of him. It's not even.
Killering.
And everyone
Yeah.
says his name different, dude.
What's
Say
the
No
fuck
one
is it?
knows who the fuck that guy is. No one fucking knows. No one fucking knows who that guy is. Fuck me. I'm moving on, guys.
He has no ads,
It is what it is.
apparently.
But that's crazy, right? Like, I mean, if he won on his on money, right? Like that means ads.
I mean, technically, Jesse, if they're targeting old people, would they upload it to YouTube when they see the commercial? That happened. Based on their narrative, they're saying
Cost anything. It's free, like
know.
to upload to YouTube.
I know.
Like it's airtime that you're paying for. At least you made it.
I know. It doesn't make sense. All right, let's play. Here we go. Fucking hell.
Spare some smoke for the Republican base and the fact that, like, they're just not equipped to be in a democracy. They don't know anything.
Wait,
they
what?
actively are voting for harm and violence and the downfall of this country. And I'm tired of pretending like there's some sort of like noble savage who's just been misled. No, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. Not only are
So, okay. But he's saying, like, well, the Trump base is a bunch of old people, and we outflank them. But there's been plenty of, once again, younger people that were saying, fuck this Trump guy, he's fucking up. But they don't want to also support Democrats. Are they still the same thing you're talking about? Pieces of shit that just want to ruin the world? Have you seen that about them too, Kyle? Or is he doing what he's doing, right? Pageantry and promotion for a particular party that's also going to fuck you over. You, the audience, by the way.
What did he say? Get the fuck out of my way. Just stay the fuck out of my way then.
Nah, he wouldn't say a fucking word to me. He'd walk around, like, quietly across the sidewalk, right? He'd cross the street and go walk over there. We know that.
Like you see the grizzly bear, you're like, fuck.
He'd walk away. Anyways, let me reset real fast. It's lagging. Okay. All right, here we go.
are they ignorant, they're also really fucking stupid. And there's a great example of it right here. All right, more. So Thomas Massie, he comes out and he gives his basically a concession speech here. And listen to what he says. This, by the way, led to another massive meltdown among MAGA freaks online because how dare you? You're not losing gracefully when you say this. By the way, if you're in MAGA, you can shut the fuck up forever about people losing gracefully or not because you all back Donald Trump. The guy's never held an L in his entire fucking life.
He sounds like a little bitch, bro.
He is a little bitch.
Kyle
sounds
like a little. I'm like, bro.
Let's be honest. He is a little bitch. Let's just be honest about that. And yes, you're gonna cross the fucking street, Kyle. Let's just be honest about that. Also, it's like, and voting for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, aren't those obvious L's too? Especially what they do to their own supporters and voters, right, Kyle? Well, they get shit on less because these guys are better. Sure, pal. You little scheming little liar. At some point, Kyle, your fans are going to turn on you at some point. And to me, it's already obvious, but for them, it'll be a shock of their lives. And they'll have to go find a new home to go to. Anyways, let's play. Here we go.
He tried to steal the 2020 election, and he's openly saying he's going to try to steal 2026 and 2028. And you want to talk about losing gracefully? Shut the fuck up. Here we go. Now, by the way, you hear that crowd there. At the Galreen party, there was roughly 12 people. Here, he's got a room packed full of people, and they're all, loud and into it.
He's a Galreen. That might be it.
Listen, he needs money to pay for Crystal Ball's kids.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to.
Although I'm thinking Crystal got the money.
It took a while
to
find Ed Galrine to tell me.
Chris is the one with the cake in that house, bro.
Hey, listen, man. You take over $15 million in Israel lobby money. He gets to say this. He gets to rub it in that you're a little fucking puppet ass bitch. That you're Trump's cuck. You're not going to get to play this game. Oh, how dare you? Shut the fuck upsville. We don't care what you have to say anymore. We don't care at all. All right. By the way, here. Ed Galrine, he canceled a bunch of events when he was running. He refused to debate.
Check Twitter instead of
He hid
YouTube.
replies to his posts on Twitter. He blocked Kentucky voters on Twitter. He tells people not to record him. He brags about dodging questions. He skipped candidate questionnaires, and he used AI to write campaign posts. Not only that, he could not stop telling this story. He told the story about a dozen times of when he was a kid and he farted in church and he got like chastised over that. I don't know why he feels the need to do that. The guy's a joke. He literally ran on not a single policy, and he ended up winning. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that tell you about the Republican Party? They're not serious. All right, how about this one? So the exit polls, 181.
Once again, just dishonest on its face, as in, like, there's plenty of people that turned against him. Turned against the Trump thing and the lack of policy and all. They turned against, they supported Massie over this Galrain guy, right? All that is evidence of people not liking this stuff. But you're saying, like outright, like everyone Republican, look how stupid they are. See, and it's like you're not doing that in a sense of like trying to do like analysis. You're doing that in the sense of go vote Democrat instead, which is why use the word cuck. You.
He's about to read these exit polls. He's about to read these exit polls. How's he gonna stick with Republicans are stupid versus this was rigged?
This little guy calls
After he
people
reads
cucks.
these exit polls.
Aren't you a little like ashamed of humanity at that point? Little bleached haired little fuckface calling people cucks. Come on, like that's insulting to your own intelligence, right? That hurts for me, it hurts my feelings. Where it's like you get to walk around doing that and no one snuffed you yet, bro? What the fuck? No one punched you in the stomach for that? You get to walk around like doing that shit? You're like that's some weirdo shit, bro. But it is what it is.
I hear he's from New York City, but I can't find him because if I did know, I might show up.
Listen, there's a metaphorical snuff, okay? Sorry, forgive me for my New York lingo. I mean, snuff doesn't kill.
I just want to ask him. I just want to ask him some real questions on Snuff's career.
You know what? I want to ask him some real questions too, but he's too busy at the hairdresser. Let's play. Here we go.
Voters were talked to by this gentleman here. 72 supported Massie, 58 supported Galrine, 51 did not answer. Galrine voters were largely swayed by negative attack ads against Massie. Again, funded by the Israel lobby money cannon.
Hold on. Rewind
that. Money cannon, I should say, as well.
I hear those exit polls
ended up winning. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that tell you about the Republican Party? They're not serious. All right, how about this one? So the exit polls. 181 voters were talked to by this gentleman here. 72 supported Massie, 58 supported Galrine, 51 did not answer.
So pause.
Galrine voters were...
Of the poll he cited, out of 181 people, Massie won the exit poll.
It wasn't a quote-unquote official exit poll. It was the James Lee guy who we've probably seen before.
Dude, an exit poll, nothing about an exit poll is official. It's literally someone's... Before. You can not answer, you can answer.
No, I understand, but once again, I was saying 75% for Massie, 72% for Massie after polls open. And
No. 181 people were asked, 72 or 78, I think he's 72 voted for Massie, and 58 voted for the other guy. Ed Galrine.
No one. Everyone says his name different, and it's gonna end up like that other guy, whoever he is. But go ahead.
So, like, I mean, I don't know how many exit polls there were, but of this exit poll he's citing, Massie won.
No, it doesn't exactly say that because 51 did not answer, which means who knows?
They were looking for the guy.
Well, who knows what that means? Maybe they just actually have a personal thing where it's like, yeah, I'm not telling anyone who I vote for. I want to be like anonymously doing something. To be fair, right?
So there should be like 600 exit polls, and like you get a total of that, and they tell us. Like, they used to, at least. They used to tell you what the exit polls were, just on national TV. national news. Local news would cover it more specifically for a local election.
Yep.
But it would all be totaled out, and you would get who won by the exit poll versus who won by the actual election.
Yeah, I remember you used to stay up to see my mom's name go across the bottom of the screen of, openly voted this way or that way or whatever the fuck. But once again, those things can be fucked with. Let's be honest, it can be fucked with.
But what I said before you read it, I wanted to see how he could still be fucking on. Republicans are just stupid versus this was rigged. And here we go.
And in fact, let's be honest, Upstart, this guy, the way this pussy works, he could possibly have that idea in the back of his head, like maybe it was rigged. But he doesn't want to say that.
Say it.
Yeah, he may not want to say that. And that's not. I'll be fair to him and give him room. Maybe he does say it at some point, or he says it in this video at some point. But if he doesn't even bring it into question at all, there could be a game at play, which is why he's a pussy in the first place. In my opinion. But all right, let's apply. Let's see if he goes there. Give him a chance. Here we go.
Largely swayed by negative attack ads against Massie, again, funded by the Israel lobby money cannon.
Play an ad, Kyle.
And billionaire money cannon, I should say, as well. Including, get this, I'm not kidding about this, there was an AI-generated ad suggesting that Thomas Massie had a threesome with AOC and Ilhan Omar. I'm not kidding. That he was having relationships with them that are not acceptable, let's say, in Republican circles, okay? Somebody brought that up when talking to this guy who went to the exit poll, who was outside after they voted. They were like, oh, yeah, the reason I voted against Massie is because of the thing he did with AOC and Ilhan Omar. That's unacceptable. You don't know that that's an AI ad? You did not know that was fake. Oh, my word. Oh, my days. Oh, my goodness. There was another guy who said, oh, the reason why I'm voting against Thomas Massie is because he's too old to be in Congress. Okay, Thomas Massie is younger than Ed Galring, and you voted for the older guy. And also you support Trump, who's fucking 80 years old and sundowning and has Alzheimer's. So, good googly moogly. This is insane what we're talking about here. Just rampant misinformation. This election, in no uncertain terms, was flat out bought by the oligarchy, bought by the billionaires, bought by the Israel lobby. That's why it's the most expensive in congressional history. By the way, what was the most expensive before this? Jamal Bowman, who they took down. There was another one too, Cori Bush. That one was very expensive as well. They took her down. What does Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Thomas Massie have in common? They all were critical of Israel, and the Israel lobby went all out to purchase the seat for one of their puppets. That's a fact. So here's Thomas Massie again,
what did they do with the money?
The audience starts chanting for him to run in 2028.
Why doesn't he ask backlash?
What happens in 2028? You want me to run for Congress again? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, well, you made a compelling argument. You spoke your piece, but I need a medical margarita right now.
I just got lost.
And we'll talk about it later.
Is he going to grab the torch and run with it? The Ron Paul torch, the libertarian torch. There's always been, throughout my lifetime at least, there's always been one libertarian figure that runs in the Republican Party that makes a splash in the primary. Usually they don't end up winning, but they inspire a younger generation of libertarians. Libertarians are the only people who are part of the Republican coalition or were part of the Republican coalition who at least had some semblance of an ideology. Like, MAGA is totally ideologyless. Everybody knows that. The Republican Party is just simply a death cult. So to have some people in that party, but here's the thing, bro, and we'll get to this in a second. Now, you got a whole bunch of libertarians going, I'm not so hot on the Republican Party. I think they're a lost cause. But let me show you this as well. So, true to form, a lot of the Thomas Massie supporters are now out there, and they're going, did he actually lose? because there was a lot more enthusiasm for him, and his event was packed, and Ed Galrin's event had 12 people, and all Ed Galrin had was money the entire time. So what actually went on here? So now they're out there and they are cooking. So here's one that says, so what we're supposed to believe is that a guy who only had 75 donations from Kentucky, an empty victory party, and nobody at his rallies managed to double turnout from 2024, plus
Bernie.
get all 10K mail-in ballots. Kentucky 4 may have been outright fraud. These numbers don't make sense. And then he got some stuff here that he lays out. We have another one. This one says, remember when Trump said this about mail-in ballots?
The same James Lee guy.
Mail-in ballots will lead to massive electoral fraud. This is Trump and a rigged 2020 election. Look at all the cases and examples that are out there right now, with Patterson, New Jersey being the most recent example. Republicans in particular cannot let this happen. So Trump said that in July of 2020, saying basically mail-in ballots are ripe for fraud. And now you got a bunch of people online saying Ed Galrin received 10,854 mail-in ballot votes tonight. Thomas Massie lost by 10,280 votes. That's not a coincidence. So now people who were in the MAGA coalition are leaving the MAGA coalition, and they're going, you know what? I actually think you guys stole this from Thomas Massie. Now, by the way, allow every liberal and leftist in this conversation to interject and say, oh, now you guys see that Trump would be the type of person to steal an election? Oh, now you guys wake up to that fact? But when people brought that up in 2024, you were mocking us for it. You were saying that's ridiculous. That would never happen. Interesting, isn't it? So
yeah, it's very interesting. How are you denying that your team might not do that? How's that a gotcha when you're saying gotcha against yourself, essentially? I'm sure there's people that said plenty of things when it comes to shady election things happening that you probably poo-pooed and said, go away, shut up. It's like, what the fuck? Did Kyle do that with the Kamala Harris loss? Did he do that where it's like, hey, I told everyone there was a silent majority that was going to rise up and win the election for Kamala. They didn't show up, so it must have been like rigging or something. Was he doing that? Was he going with the rigging thing for that one? I didn't know that one.
I don't think so. I don't think he said rigging.
Okay,
I think
what's he saying
Democratic
now?
Party.
It was more like, oh, I didn't.
He covered it a little bit. It wasn't.
What's he saying
Yeah,
now?
he covered it.
He said it was rigged. I don't remember him saying it was rigged.
Maybe others
He
did.
He didn't have anything to plan on, but he did say it a couple times.
What did you say, Jesse?
Because of the Biden election, when he won,
yeah,
they were very protective about like, oh, there's nothing irregular. Mail-in ballots are legit. Nothing happened. You know,
You're
they're
right
very
about
defensive on that stuff. So
yeah, that's right. And now they're using it against the Republicans. Kyle is.
I get that, but wasn't he just saying that people were saying that something in 2024 was also off, and they got quieted for it? I want to play it again.
I don't remember.
Are leaving the MAGA coalition, and they're going, you know what? I actually think you guys stole this from Thomas Massie. Now, by the way, allow every liberal and leftist in this conversation to interject and say, oh, now you guys see that Trump would be the type of person to steal an election? Oh, now you guys wake up to that fact? But when people brought that up in 2024,
he did.
You were mocking us for it. You were saying that's ridiculous. That would never happen.
Yeah.
But how would he do that? Like, how did he? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he stole it from outside government.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He stole it by, I don't know,
with you guys when you guys in office, he did like, bro, like, how do you do that?
I mean, if anything, the Democratic Party made it happen, right? Like, putting Kamala there. Like, force-feeding Kamala as a candidate.
Well, yeah, they had no... Well, Kyle can't bring that shit up, bro. He can't. Now he can't do it. Like, yeah, the no primary, just select Kamala. Like, yeah, he can't bring that up.
There's a simple thing of, like, the idea of, like, fighting corruption wherever it happens type of idea. Should I try to, like, live by? And when I see, like, little pussies like this that are the exact opposite, and it's selective, it hurts my fucking feelings a lot. Which is why I feel the need to shit on this little pussy, bro. He's a little pussy. He is. A pussy, a coward, and he looks like a sidekick for Willy Wonka. The metrosexual Willy Wonka.
You're just a hater.
Yeah, I'm just a hater. There's no character reasons behind it.
I hate the way you talk, the way you walk. I hate the way you dress.
Let me tell you, I'm the biggest hater. No, it really is for me character driven. Why I'm just like looking at this full. Yo, this is your guy for real? This dude, him. Fuck my life. The sidewalk, the fucking street crosser to go to the other side of the sidewalk. That guy, him. Sure.
Uh-oh.
Fuck out of here. This fool Ubers around dangerous neighborhoods. He Ubers around it. He's like, hey, I want to go.
If you make a wrong turn, yo, don't go that way. You're in the Bronx. Don't make that right. Don't go on East Tremont.
If he wants
Get
to go
off East Tremont.
Wants to go for a nice walk, he'll stop at a certain street, call a cab, and go around it, then get out and start walking again. He gets to the next nice neighborhood. Like, this little pussy, get the fuck out of here.
He's like, you're taking me to the triple digits in Broadway? No, in Harlem, get me out of here.
Oh, I'm seeing too many MLK drives and Malcolm Boulevards. Like,
Grove
I'm out of here.
Grove Street.
I'm seeing Broadways and shit. Nope, I can't be here. I'm out of here. All right, let's play on this pussy. Here we go. Like other people cucks. That's the thing where it's like honest. It's not a moral high horse. It's a like nah fucking thing. I'm like, go fuck yourself, you little pussy, bro. You know fucking nothing about fucking life. You're a fucking borrower, bragging about the things you fucking borrowed from other people, and you still do that fucking wrong. Who the fuck are you, my man? A baby. Thus, I have to apologize and say, you know what? I will not conduct child abuse. Let's hit play. Here we go.
Interesting, isn't it? So here we go. This person says, Massie's district is going to turn blue. Fucking great job. And then, as you can see here, this woman, Melissa Strange, won the Democratic primary.
Who's that?
Okay. Now, I will say, this district is overwhelmingly Republican. It's like 30 points or more Republican. So I think to say it's going to turn blue, that's a stretch. Even in a Democratic wave year. Like, Democrats can flip, like, plus 20 Republican districts in some cases, but plus 30 or more. It's a tall order, right? However, here you have the liberty.
But wait. Well, but Kyle, why does this sound like if it's about like material difference and policy and all that stuff, and if it's not going to flip blue, it's going to stay with the Republicans and this Ed Galrain guy, you would have to support Massie. Did he do that? Did Kyle do that? Did he say, yo, go vote Massie to make the world a better place? But they typically do that. But Anthony, they typically do that, don't they? They typically say, like, hey, man, this guy has no chance of winning, so don't vote for them. Vote for this guy over here because it's a better outcome than what you're going to get if this guy loses, right? And the same applies to Thomas Massie here. Hey, vote Thomas Massie because the Democrat's not going to win, most likely. So thus, support Massie over Galrain because Galrain's worse. So go out and campaign and support and canvass for Thomas Massie. Shouldn't that be his logic right there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That should be his logic, right?
Yeah, it should.
But okay.
This kind of.
Oh, okay, got it. Bleach-haired pussy.
It's not a very partisan act.
Oh, got it. Unfortunate too, man, because people thought something. I thought something different about him years ago, and now he's here. Now he's Cody Rhodes without the testosterone.
Yeah, I was about to say without the teeth.
All right, here we go.
Plus 30 or more. It's a tall order, right? However, here you have the Libertarians for Massie account says every single independent and Massie voter in this district should vote for Melissa Strange, the Democrat. Do not sit it out. Do not vote for the Epsteinian neocon. I am completely endorsing Melissa Strange for Congress in Kentucky's 4th District for 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, the Libertarians are having a bit of a moment here. And you know what? I've always said I don't understand why Libertarians don't vote Democrat. The idea that they're in league with Republicans, at least with the Democrats, they are definitely less pro-war than the Republicans. That's a fact.
Like
he wants to Nick Fuentes. He wants to Nick Fuentes as a strategist.
Think of, like, take this out of reality and put it into a movie, and you hear a guy say a statement of, like there's like a superhero in a movie, like, this guy is less of a villain than this guy, so go support this, like, cheer for this hero in the movie. He's a hero because he's less of a villain than this other person.
Yeah.
Imagine that logic. He just said that about, well, the Democrats are less pro-war. They're pro-war? Yeah, but less? Okay. Less pro. What does that even fucking mean? What does that even mean? It's an advertisement instead of a fucking statement. Like, for real, but
we kill with diversity.
we do nice killings instead of the bad ones that Trump does. Didn't Gaza happen under Biden? Didn't Gaza happen? Right?
Oh yeah.
Part of the reasons that Trump won was because of how bad Gaza was. Ukraine too. Part of the reason why Trump won was how bad that shit looked. Once again, when it comes to mass murdering motherfuckers.
Where was left of Syria fucking fell under Biden.
Like, fuck, if that's less pro-war, then what the fuck are we doing, bro? Doesn't make sense. One less concentration camp. All right, here we go.
Fact, in modern American history, every Democratic president has been much less pro-war than Republicans. Republicans are the ones who start the big colossal wars.
He's lying and gaslighting.
Not only that, when it comes to civil liberties, when it comes to constitutional rights, it is objectively the case that Democrats are better on those issues.
This is the end of every Kyle video. It's the same thing every time. Democrats are better. Let me tell you why. He's like begging, like, please go vote Democrat, please. He's like begging.
And I pointed out to you. World War I and World War II started under Democratic presidents of the United States.
But you're just Kyle, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're on the surface, you're a dumber version than Kyle. Like, so, like, you're still advocating for a team. You're still advocating for a team, just doing it in a less clever way than what Kyle does. But it's still bad either way. The idea should be like, these so-called teams suck ass, and there's a moral limit I have personally to where if this is crossed, I can't go there. So I was hoping that voters would maybe move towards, but guess what? Who the fuck is out there really thinking about things? And thus, the yellow brick road. That's why I say exactly what I say. More thinking is needed, because look around. What's at play? Here we go.
Than Republicans. So if you're a libertarian, what do you get from Republicans? They roll back child labor laws. Congratulations.
Strategy, right?
Is that really worth it for multiple new illegal wars of aggression?
It's like begging
is it really worth
vote
it?
Or just vote Democrat?
And all the talk of Republicans like, we're deficit hawks. We want smaller government. They don't do smaller government. They do bigger government, and they do massive tax cuts and subsidies for the Epstein class, for the billionaires. So, like, what's the point of, if you're a libertarian, what's the point of supporting Republicans? You actually have more in common with Democratic politicians than Republican politicians, even though you might not realize that. So we're beginning to see libertarians wake up in that sense that they're pissed off, bro. They're pissed off.
It's funny because Democrats, once again, a lot of these younger people that have no fucking clue what's going on, or just dick riding and shout to dirtbag leftists, I don't realize that the Democrats are going to dog walk you. And make you feel like you're doing something, but they're actually doing the exact opposite. But making you feel like you made a better choice because they'll say more words about it. Like, Republicans will say, like, well, fuck it, just bomb Iran. And Democrats will say, listen, there's a strategic matter that's at hand here. We need to actually minimize the amount of damage that Iran can do as a foreign actor in the world stage. Meanwhile, same thing. The actions, like, on the surface, material actions, if you will, all going the same direction from one team or another, but yet you will trick yourselves into thinking, I made the more moral choice here because of the material differences. Yeah, look where that gets you. All that to avoid my idea of, like, hey, we should think about this, right? In reality, like, what do you think morally? Do you have morals? Have you thought about it? Have you built them, made them, thought about it at all? Or is it just some word you use for fun, for election season, but really has no substance to it? And thus you're just repeating the same old cycles over and over again. It's quite interesting, and you're letting little Playboy bleached-haired motherfuckers guide you there. Of all of it, bro. That's. I mean, aesthetically, that's just it's like the Tim Pool thing, where it's like, who's following this guy? Like, what about him is so worth following? I don't get it. Same thing goes with this fool. Like, he's funnier than Timmy, right? He has more charisma than Timmy, but at the core of it, it's just like, is he that funny compared to like Chappelle or someone more interesting, right? Is he actually that funny, or is it just whatever? Or even Jimmy Dore. I have to reset. Hold on. All right, here we go.
They think this was stolen from Thomas Massie, and it really is. They're spitting in your eye because Thomas Massie, again, all he did, his big crime was releasing the Epstein files, wanting to hold the child sex traffickers accountable, and opposing this illegal war of aggression against Iran. That's it. And because of that, Trump himself is furious. The MAGA elites are furious, and the Israel lobby is furious. All right. On the Democratic side, Chris Rabb has won Pennsylvania's 3rd district for the Democratic primary in Philadelphia. He will be the first socialist Philadelphia has ever elected to the House of Representatives, okay? AOC campaigned for him.
Title.
Hassan Piker campaigned for
Title.
him. Summer Lee campaigned for him. But you had a lot of established...
So think about it, Kyle, right? Now, let's say Israel as a topic that people are talking about more so often now. On paper, Massie outflanks AOC by probably miles, right? By a lot of miles. But he gets ousted, and she gets to endorse people, and it helps them win. Which is the same thing for Trump, right? He gets to endorse people, and apparently it helps him win, on paper at least, right? So, it's a perspective thing to look at, like, hey, once again, real assessments for all these scenarios instead of having the presupposition mentally of team playing. As in, these guys have to win no matter what as your prime motive. Thus, you can twist and mangle any story you want to make it sound clean. Versus, like Trump and all the shitty things that Kyle says about Trump, him endorsing someone on paper led to a win, right? Is Kyle giving a serious analysis of AOC and like, hey, what if she does shitty things that leads to a win for someone? Isn't that bad too? Shouldn't someone like hold everyone to account on every little topic you can get your hands on? Because guess what? People die over this stuff, right, Kyle? When AOC lies to you about Gaza and then says, come vote for me or go vote for that guy over there, somehow you accept that because you view the other team as so bad. Which is, once again, you'd cross the street to avoid the bad stuff, wouldn't you? Instead of engaging with it and finding like a human element to it, right? But then again, like, let's be honest, he's not smart enough for that, right? He doesn't have enough abstraction intelligence or abstract intelligence, right? He's a book nerd and not a liver. Anyways, what's the play? I'm just gonna play and just walk away, honestly. I'll let this play out. Here we go.
Establishment Democrats line up on the other side for Sharif Street. Cory Booker was just doing an event for Sharif. The same Cory Booker that said, oh, I'm not going to endorse in the New York City mayor's race because I'm just minding my own business. I'm not getting involved in other races. Cut to, now all of a sudden you're getting involved in other races? No, it turns out you just don't like Zoran because he's a democratic socialist and because he's critical of Israel and because he's actually here to make change. And Cory Booker is not here to do that. And so a bunch of establishment Democrats lined up behind other candidates, and the left flank lane was all taken by Chris Rabb, and he ended up winning. And by the way, winning fucking comfortably, bro. Winning by double digits. Okay, now if you need a little crash course on who this guy is, here's a clip that Jacobin posted. We got a real one, y'all. We got a real one that's going to Congress. Here we go.
I think the real question is the Democratic Party prepared to listen to the base that demands this progressivism? Because what many people are calling progressive are pretty much standard things in other nations where universal health care is the thing. where there's no notion of healthcare insurance. It's just healthcare, a living wage for all, social housing, a federal job guarantee. All of these things are things that are commonplace in other industrialized nations, but not in the richest country in world history. And so there is a cry from people in our base who do not see themselves in conventional campaigns, which is why I've always run a grassroots campaign. I have over 6,000 donors, small donors. 90% of my donor base are small donors. That means folks who've given less than $200. Those are the people who I'm listening to and who hold me to account. And what they're asking for are basic things that our government should be able to provide, particularly since we know we have the money because we're already spending that money overseas for another endless war nobody wants. And so to that point, if progressive means healthcare as a human right, housing as a human right, a living wage for all of these things are not considered radical anymore, but they are considered radical when you look at it through the lens of establishment politics. So the critique is more about when are we going to have something more than status quo politicians who are compromised by corporate interests and actually listen to the people who are closest to the pain.
So,
okay. Now, to be fair to this guy, sorry, I had to pull some chicken from the fridge or from the freezer. It's frozen chicken. Let it thaw out, you know. I found it more important than but Kyle's whatever, like trash can. Kyle, fine. But the rap guy, I leave room for everyone. I don't just say he's bad because Kyle likes him or whoever likes him, right? Sam Cedar or AOC or Mom Donnie or whoever the fuck, right? I don't appeal to I try to give them a fair chance. I try to listen to them, give them a chance. So thus I will be investing more time on this guy to find out. Once again, anyone can say words out loud. For some reason, people don't understand what I mean by that, seemingly from some comments I get, but they don't understand that, like, hey, when I say, like, anyone can say free Palestine out loud, it's in the sense of, like, they're just words versus, you know, who are they as people, right? And that's, I get it, like, intellectually, like, hard to even try to, you know, bridge that gap, right? Like really, like, try to understand it, like, who someone is. But you're doing it anyways, and I think it's worthy of a venture intellectually in your thought process to go try to find out, like, hey, is this guy for real or not? Right? So him rattling off words that fit right towards a campaign, which, once again, all these guys are, like, coached to do, essentially, right? You still try to, like, peek behind the veil to find out, are they for real about it, or is it just campaign rhetoric, right? Are they about it, or are they just? And I mean, like, go based on my like my strategy or someone else's strategy. It's more so like, do they mean what they're saying when they say it, or is it what you're supposed to say to get elected? I know Kyle's not thinking about that because he fell for John fucking Fetterman. Look what happened there. And yes, there's a lot of Trump people that fell for Trump shit, just rhetoric, but they wanted to believe in it and thus blinded themselves during the whole process. Why not mentally, psychologically, spiritually, well, maybe not spiritually, but outflank them on this stuff? Why not outflank them, these dummies out here? That with every sense of fucking hindsight, they failed. Hell, it's plenty of hindsight failures. Obviously, the, you know, initial hyper pro-Trump thing have plenty of failures. They don't assess it. They don't do a reconciliation or you know, an assessment of, like, how they got so tricked or fooled, or what they did to, like, get to where they got to, where it could involve things like lying and deception for the sake of getting votes that you hope will work out one day, but it didn't work out. So shouldn't you apologize for the lying and the deceptions in the first place? Of course not, because if I do that, then I'll look bad. If I look bad, I can't tell people this new candidate. Thus, there's no lesson learned, on and so forth. But once again, I'm not gonna the Rob. What's his first name? Is it Chris Rob? What's his fucking whatever? I'll look into him fairly without appealing to Kyle as, like, well, Kyle likes him, so he must be bad. That'd be a dumb fuck way to do things. Shout out to Kyle Kulinski, actually, because that's how it seems like he does dumb fuck shit. But all right, let's play. Here we go.
Understand, y'all, more and more Democrats are getting elected who are against the illegal war against Iran. They're against the Epstein class.
So
they
the
want to
plan's
tax the
working out.
billionaires. They want universal health care. They
plan
want
is
free
working. Let me
college.
trust
They
you.
want a living
Here, let me tell
wage.
you.
They want social housing. They want all these policies that will objectively make people's lives better. If you are in the Republican coalition and you oppose the Epstein class, you want to arrest the child sex traffickers, you want to end these illegal wars, the Republicans just sent a message to you. Trump personally just sent a message to you. The Israel lobby just sent a message to you. There's no place for you inside that coalition, inside that party. The party truly is a fascist, imperialist, terrorist death cult. And they actively want bad things for everybody. They are protecting an elite pedophile network.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Democrats did that too. But if you look at, once again, instead of it AOC over there, she's changing the way these people are doing politics. Instead, it's more of her on the surface character being changed by that system thing, right? Once again, you could say pedophile network, but you could also say like blowing children up with bombs. You could say that's equally bad for a lot of perspectives. And AOC protected that happening. She did. I don't care which way she fucking votes. When it comes down to it, if the name of the game is PR and messaging and narratives, guess what she sold? That these guys are we're working hard to stop this bad thing from happening, but in reality, they fucking weren't, which means she lied about it. And you tell me when she's going to address it. Are you going to say, Kyle, like, well, she can't afford to address those things where she messed up on something or lied. She can't address it because then she'll lose her election. And if she loses her election, then we're going backwards. Because when she's here, right? When she's here, things are better because at least we feel like we have some sort of hope in a direction. It feels better when she's in here versus like some establishment guy winning her district, right? Or potentially presidency, right? Versus like he keeps saying on a objective level, this guy doesn't even study that. It's like, does he actually look into like what does objective mean? And that's like he doesn't even look into that, does he? He's like a lame brain, right? A road crosser, if you will. But still, it's like he's doing advertisement. He's appealing to things instead of being like, yeah, give a full-blown, full-throated definition of all this stuff. Look into it and tell us what you think, Kyle. Instead, it sounds like he's selling us something instead. That's what it sounds like. Here we go. Here's more lame brain Kyle that people think are genius now. Maybe not genius, but they really don't like when I shit on this guy for some reason. But I guess time will tell again. Here we go.
They're carpet bombing little girls' elementary schools. Is that really who you want to be in league with? Or you want to be in league with the people who are trying to get people health care and stand up against the Epstein class and tax the billionaires and end the wars? So as the Republican Party...
Who is he talking about? Who is he talking about again? Who is he talking about? Is like a few people in Congress he's talking about? Like those guys? Like, okay, we're moving in a direction. This could work out for us.
And one of those guys just got kicked out.
Yeah.
That was helping your son.
And it's like, yeah. What was it? The guy was it? Is it Joshua Golden? Some guy who presents a bill and then votes against it.
I thought it was Josh Gottmeyer.
Holy shit!
Or was it Golden? I think it was Golden. Jacob Golden. Who his name is?
Oh, okay.
This fool
I got a congressman in my fucking state. That's his name. He's like a big guy.
Now this guy sponsored a bill to end support for a war in Iran, and then voted against it.
Okay, well he didn't write it, right? He sponsored it.
Co-sponsored.
He signed his name on it.
I guess.
Yeah, like he put on it. Yeah.
Then voted against it.
Hey, I don't know the inside baseball politics of all this stuff, but that's for real, bro. I mean, that should actually bake your noodle. Pause. That should wreck your shit.
He wins either way.
I wonder if Kyle covered that.
Way.
I wonder if Kyle covered that. If he didn't, why wouldn't he? He's against this stuff, right? On paper. Why would he not cover that? How about Kat Abigazale's dog shit foreign policy? Did he cover that? He still hasn't, has he? Why is that, though? I don't get it. For what purpose? Yeah.
You gotta defend, man.
Don't worry. I'm the dumb. Don't worry, Anthony. I'm the dumb one here. I'm the easily tricked, easily moved, dumb fuck. Granted, I'm gonna put Kyle's audience like the fanboys of fanboys that saw my video of him, several videos of him that have like thoroughly defended Kyle Kulinski on any of his takes. I'm gonna say 99% of them were saying, "Oh, you're just a Trump-loving MAGA guy." That should tell you everything right there.
99%.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys said, yo, brain, I'm gonna crack the skull open, walk out and go away, please. Thank you, brain. See you later. Put my cap back on. Dumb as rocks. And when they try to argue, they run. They run fast. They run hard away. These motherfuckers are actual track stars. They are out of here. Fuck Usain Bolt. These motherfuckers go faster. They're out of here. Look at your channel, you MAGA loving. You idiot, you fell for Trump, didn't you? Look what happened here. Hey man, check my last video. Fuck you, I'm out of here. Like, you little babies, bro. But don't worry, guys, the lights turn off at some point. You have to confront yourself at some point. I feel quite comfortable about me. What say you? What say you? There we go.
Party is objectively getting worse. The Democratic Party is objectively getting better. On that point, look at this. Charles Booker defeated Amy McGrath in Kentucky for the Senate Democratic primary. Amy McGrath has spent tens of millions, maybe $100 million in multiple races trying to get elected. Failed every single time. She's a
Wait. Wasn't she one of the good...
Yeah.
Was Amy McGrath lady like one of the good guys back in the day? Am I tripping? Where it's like, oh my God, we got a female candidate. That's legit. Am I tripping?
She was like against. No, but she was against all those policies though. She was against Medicare for all.
Yeah, but
her shit was dog shit, bro.
But she was used as a sense of things getting better, was she not? Am I tripping?
No, I think
really?
you're tripping.
Okay, I might be tripping then.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. She's always had dog shit policies. Though.
But I swear there was like an ex-military chick that was running for office. And they were like, oh my God, here's the real deal.
Got asked questions, she gave answers, and left you with a bad taste. And like, nah, I don't know about this.
Okay, it's just, it would be funny if, in 4 years from now, we're saying like, see, look, we have, Johnny Walker here running against Charles Booker. Booker, listen, he's been he's like, he's trash. We need this, Johnny Walker to win, right? Like, that'd be crazy if like you switch the pictures out. Charles Booker's now on the right, and they put this Johnny Walker guy on the left. And they're like, "Hey, Johnny Walker, listen, we're progressing now." Johnny Walker won his primary against Charles Booker because Booker's like sucked ass. that'd be worthy of like, hey, I should think about this now. Like, how does that pattern keep happening if that were the case, right? I mean, Kyle's not going to do it, but I'm just saying, like, he might not do it, but. For once again, the viewer, the thinker, the person that's claiming to be like a thinker about this stuff, like, that'd be hard to negotiate intellectually, right? If all of a sudden Charles Booker's the bad guy in 2 to 4 years from now, and you're trying to find ways to replace him.
Better. Nah, they rationalize it. We thought he'd be better.
I'm gonna remember this for that reason. I'm gonna try to remember this.
Well, this guy, both of these guys have tried to run multiple times. This guy lost. I remember this guy lost. So now he beat this chick.
Okay.
And you're not a feel-good story, Jordan. If you spent over $100 million in several elections.
I mean,
well, there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason she's repulsive, bro.
As
a candidate.
That's fair enough. Now, let me ask this question, because it is about, once again, principle seems to be like out the window at this point. It's just like whatever wins, right? Whatever strategy works. Does Kyle cheer for Trump to start shitting on Rand Paul? So that, right? Because it's like, okay, are they going against Rand Paul? This is a Senate race, right? So, but there are like,
What's
was
going
it
on
like 2
against Rand
senators?
Paul?
What's up?
Oh, these guys are going up against Rand Paul.
Would they be?
I don't know.
They
ran Senate?
Senate.
This is for Senate?
The Senate and his Democratic primaries.
Oh, primary. Yeah, I guess they're gonna fucking lose him. Rand Paul's not losing.
Yeah, true. But most likely. But then I thought that about Massie for a bit. But what would?
Yeah, Rand Paul's not gonna get negative ads by throwing at him.
Yeah.
Especially not now. He's gonna stay real quiet.
So shouldn't Kyle cheer for Trump to say "fuck you, Rand Paul"? I hope you lose, and like not endorse the guy and shit on him and all, and pay for ads against him and all that stuff. Should Kyle cheer for that?
I think he would cheer for that. If
He'd
he knew that
right?
for a fact, he would. Yeah, get him out of here.
I mean, to be consistent with this, but it's not consistent with like let's just less pro war, yeah. Like because they would be the main people to support, those type of things.
On paper, Jesse. These guys would be like these guys would be like who knows what's going to happen, right? Versus just their rhetoric. But Rand Paul, when it comes to the Republican side, has been more against these foreign excursions than other Republicans and a lot of Democrats. Probably most Democrats, right? So thus,
yeah, like
Cal might have to
nearly all
support Rand Paul.
Yeah, by proxy, just by them winning, they become more pro-war than Rand Paul.
So he'd have to support
I
Rand Paul.
remember for the military votes, they like how they fund it and those things. The whole house was like maybe 4 people that would vote against it, and that's out of like 500, right? So yeah, it's just a handful of people.
Yeah. All right. I mean, fuck it. Whatever. Last minutes. Here we go. This fucking lame brain pussy.
Milquetoast neoliberal establishment corporate centrist type Democrat. Charles Booker is the left flank candidate. He ended up winning. Now, look, to be fair, Kentucky's very, very difficult to win at a national level. It's a very red state at a national level. Funny enough, at the local and state level, it's a little different. Sometimes they elect Democrats there, but at the national level, it's almost always Republicans. So it's an uphill climb no matter who the candidate is. But this goes to show you where the energy in the party is.
Trust that
Not
fucking
only that,
plan.
We have Bernie Sanders himself. He says, congratulations to Bob Brooks, a retired.
Yo, Kyle, what if it wasn't straight up just like, hey, you know what? His policies are better than her policies. What if it's just like, we can't win with, like, she hasn't won anything, so you know what? We're just going to pick the other guy just because. Shouldn't that be part of your assessment? And thus, like, hey, guys, we need to, like, think about this a little bit. But of course, dumb fuck pussies don't think that way, do they? They just scratch themselves. Too much. Let's apply. There we go.
Firefighter and union leader on winning the Democratic primary in Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District. His win follows the recent progressive victories of iron workers and union leader Brian Poindexter in Ohio and union organizer Analilia Mejia in New Jersey. We're making progress. You bet your ass. We're making progress, y'all. You bet your ass. So y'all better go out there. If you live in Michigan, you better go out there. You better vote for.
Trust that fucking plan.
Trust that plan.
Don't worry, my life won't be affected. But trust the plan, guys.
What is it? What was that shit called?
Who do you want elected in Michigan?
A commie. That's what he wants.
We're making progress, see? We now we can now bomb children with
Kyle likes the fake commie. He likes the commie light. That's the one he likes. The diet commies. He likes diet commies.
You can now blow people up and not feel so bad about it. Because it would have been a much worse blowing up if someone else would. Oh, fuck. Oh,
less war.
That's okay. Kyle doesn't believe in morality, though. Unfortunately.
Less war. 10,000 less guns were shipped out to the war with 250,000 guns.
No, not less war, less pro-war.
Yeah.
Same amount of war.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's actually perfection. That is the exact quote that is perfect. Fuck my life.
I mean, it doesn't matter what happens. I mean, he can spin it. He knows the job.
It ain't less war, it's just less pro-war. Less in favor of it, but it still happens anyway, so fuck it. But don't worry, feel better about yourself. You voted the right way. I'll leave it there. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree or disagree. Let it be known what you think in the comment section. I'm sure. Well, I mean, they don't show up as much, or YouTube algorithm doesn't send this stuff to Kyle fans anymore. Because, yeah. But let it be known. What do you think about all the voting stuff? Or sorry, the Massie stuff. To obviously, I closed the whole video with Kyle because I knew he's gonna go like, well, hey man, listen, Democrats do this. They're better. In fact, you know what? Rogan said those same words, by the way, Jesse. Well, you know, Trump is less pro-war. Those were Rogan's words right before Trump actually entered office. He's less pro-war. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean?
The phrase doesn't make sense, right? Wasn't I just saying yesterday or the day before? It's like you could, if what you wanted was less war, you could say less war, right? Like it's very simple. It's easier, like people would understand. But that's something you could dispute, right? Like you'd be like, no, it's not. Like you could look at it and just say it's not. Like you know it. But less pro-war. Now you're talking about how somebody feels. Like you can't dispute that.
Well, it's just fun. Once again, the little dichotomy that happens there where, like, narrative-wise, it's Republican side, like, on the surface is like, kill the terrorists, right? So thus we do this with the Middle East or with Gaza or any situation, right, in support of Israel. And the Democrat side says helping the helpless while also beefing up military actions in Ukraine, with Ukraine, Russia, also some Middle Eastern stuff as well. But they just put different narratives to it, and somehow that works in reality with people. And a lot of these little clowns we see on fucking screen move people that direction, whether knowingly or not. Although I think this guy's full of shit at this point. Full of shit, maybe for his own devices, maybe for something more dangerous. At the very least, an ignoramus pussy, no matter what, to me at this point. But whatever, say your ideas in the comment section if you feel like. Don't forget to share, support. Hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. We're in that Discord right now. All opinions are welcome. And obviously, everything I showed you will be linked in the same description box to look at on your own and study and willy-nilly and investigate into more stuff and ask questions and think about it and whatever. Here's your video. It is what it is. Most important thing to do, trust me, give this video a thumbs down.